shut it down, down, down. You be the baddest girl around, round, round. Yeah, yeah. 3D, 4K, she gotta see me. Triple X movies, we can show this shit on TV. I won't leak it, I can watch it back on repeat. If I met you back then, I would've bought your ass a CD. Baby, we gon' shut it down. When I'm in your city, I'm gon' take that ass to town. You been feeling different lately, now that I'm around. And they notice, you was shorty. Need some work, yeah, I've been around. Count on you, been waiting for a while. Loving on you, I'ma say it out loud. You been on 10, can I show you what I'm about? And you know me, you my twin, you can't leave me by my lonely. You the realest, you ain't even gotta show me. You hit her right on 31st and put it on me. Baby, we gon' shut it down. When I'm in your city, I'm gon' take that ass to town. You been feeling different lately, now that I'm around. And they notice, you was shorty. 3D, 4K, she gotta see me. Triple X movies, we can show this shit on TV. I won't leak it, I can watch it back on repeat. If I met you back then, I would've bought your ass a CD. Score, 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 score. Shout out to A, I'm feeling like Kobe, I wanna be great. We went from them heroes to legends, I did it all without a K. No, I'ma win, I'm a champion, yeah, I took over that game. I'm shooting like Steph from the middle, you know I've been making it rain. Score, I can't lay down, I've been running the floor. Sweeping opponents like doing a chore. I'm chasing that chip, I've been chasing that glory. Score, 24 seconds, I'm shooting from deep. 24/7, I'm tucking my heat. 22 on my back, like my name Jimmy B. Do a lot to LeBron, like he back on the heat. I ain't resting my feet. My whole city depending on me. You can't trade me, I choose when I leave. Ain't running with me, you can't step on my team. Dunking on 12, yeah, they call me the beam. Driving that paint with a head full of steam. Been undefeated, I'm chasing the rings. Shot never miss, I've been shooting them greens. Score, 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 score. Shout out to A, I'm feeling like Kobe, I wanna be great. We went from them heroes to legends, I did it all without a K. No, I'ma win, I'm a champion, yeah, I took over that game. I'm shooting like Steph from the middle, you know I've been making it rain.
Yes, sir. Chat, what's good with y'all, man? We are back at it like a bad habit. If y'all don't know what it is, you better find out. Hold on. Camera went blurry for a sec. We back. Look, man, it's your boy ATD Official, man. This is Degen Entertainment. If y'all don't know what it is, you better find out. We really like that, man. Chat, today, if you guys are on YouTube, y'all see the layout. We got something different for y'all. If you guys are on TikTok and you guys want to watch this on YouTube, we do have our at the bottom. So if you guys want to go over, check that out. But chat, this is a different type of vibe for y'all tonight, man. This is our official podcast episode 1. So you guys are getting involved in this super early. I got my boy Brandon from Prize Picks. He is in the building. Let me bring him in. Yo, B, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
B, what's good, man? How you doing?
Doing good, bro. How are you?
Pretty good. It's just one of those days, man. One of those days. Oh,
How
man.
was that game to you?
I'm not gonna lie. It was a high scoring game. It was a super high scoring game. A lot of people didn't think it would be as high scoring, but it definitely cleared a lot of the overs.
Yeah, I definitely had that. I would think it played under, but I don't play totals like that. But division games usually under, but Thursday night anything goes.
No, yeah, for sure. I
Wild.
definitely
Did
enjoyed it.
Denver? What Denver only put up 3 in the second half?
I think so, because what was it, 21? Well, 6 technically, because they were up 21 to 10, I believe.
Insane.
Yeah, and it ended up, yeah. I mean, 27-34, man. That's, what is that, 3? That's 50. What is that, 57? That's 61 points on the over under. I don't think any of these like books had this going over like more than what, 24, I think, for the over under.
Yeah, no, definitely not, bro. I think the total was set in like mid 40s, probably 46.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. Chat, man, make sure you guys double tap the screen for every 10 chat for every 10K. Every 10K likes, we will trigger a Givvy. Make sure
I
you guys are in the
apologize,
Degen Discord as well.
41 and a half.
That's what it was?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they destroyed that over.
Damn. It's so low that you want to take the under. It's like suspiciously low.
Yeah.
And you never had a chance.
No, that's insane. That is insane.
Did you give out any picks? How was your lineups?
Yeah, I gave out one lineup and we actually hit. we went 4 for 4 today, bro. Believe it or not.
There you go.
And you know what's funny? You know what the last leg was? It was Will Lutz's fantasy score. Before Denver kicked that last second field goal to make it a 7-point game, he was sitting at 7 fantasy out of 8. So I needed anything, either a PAT or a field goal. It would have smacked it.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
so they went for the quick 3.
Down conversion.
Yep.
Yeah.
That 4th down conversion was everything, bro. I was like, because if they get this, they're gonna get into field goal range, kick the ball, and hopefully it goes in. Because it was a long field goal. I think it was like 50 something yards. So
That's the crazy thing about it, because like before, back in the day, like money was swung basically. You knew basically on the spread and on the total, like where money like at the end was gonna be, But now with these props, you have no idea all the different every play. It's like a fantasy game. Every game, it's like every point matters. No matter how irrelevant it seems on the surface.
yeah, no, 100%, which is cool. But at the end of the day, like it's stuff like that which makes watching the game so enjoyable, because when, like, for example, like a normal person that's watching the game, like they're not over here begging Denver to kick a field goal. Like they're not thinking that. They're like, bro, this game's over, just kneel the ball, whatever. But it's cool. It's like the extra stuff that's involved in like the entire game that only a particular type of person who takes overs and unders would kind of hope for. So that was pretty dope. That was pretty dope.
But that's good for the NFL too, because like how many people turn that game off because it's irrelevant after they're down 10 versus, everybody that had Will Lutz on their ticket is definitely tuned in.
No, yeah, 100%. 100%.
Well, good for you, bro. I'm glad to hear that you did well.
Yeah, it's a W. So going into our first segment, man, we got prime time breakdown. So we kind of broke it down just a little bit, but from what you were seeing for the game, B, where did it go wrong for Denver? Where do you think they lost the game? What was it? What could they have done better? What did you see?
I'll be honest, I thought the Chargers were going to be the right side in this game, and I didn't end up even playing it before just because, I don't know, like the public, I guess, was on the Chargers. I don't know how much so. Different apps were saying different things, and I'm usually more contrarian with the teams I like. But so once I saw that, I was like, let me try to catch Chargers live, which I actually ended up at +5 at halftime. Basically, you can get them +5.
Yeah.
And so I expected them, but like I think it's just like the defense didn't kind of show up for the first half of the game, and then the Chargers defense has been pretty solid. They got so many playmakers on that side of the ball, especially with Khalil Mack now back. I didn't even realize he was even back in the lineup too. It's like they should be dominant. So and I kind of have the Broncos a little overrated on my side, anyways. Like Bo Nix, he doesn't really pass all the eye tests from a throwing standard for me, but like I know that Sean Payton kind of covers up a lot of that too. So that game, I think, the Broncos probably had people a little, overhyped basically at that point at half. So, for them to come back down to earth was as expected, I would say.
Yeah, I think it definitely showed the difference in quarterback experience today.
Yeah.
Especially with Bo Nix, he is on this little hot streak. I know he didn't play too well last week, so a lot of people were expecting a bounce back game, which he did technically have a bounce back game. I mean, he went 29 for 40, throwing 263 yards, 2 touchdowns. I just think the downside was just key moments in the game. Like, they get the ball at like the 45-yard line, and he takes a sack on 1st and 10, making it 2nd and 20. And then you proceed to throw a ball straight to the ground on 2nd and 20. Now you're looking at like 3rd and 20. Then you only pick up like 8 yards and you punt it back. I think there was two different scenarios where that happened. They get the ball back in good territory and they just go 3 and out and punt the ball over. I think that's what ultimately decided the game. And then on top of that, the Bronco defense not really holding up their end as well, letting the Chargers drive on them and getting those touchdowns late in the game for them to take the lead. I think those are the two things that really dictated today's game. And then also letting the Chargers run game kind of break loose at the worst time of the game. Right at the end, you see Gus Edwards just spark them for 40 yards to put them in scoring position, and that kind of just wrapped it all up. And by then you already knew, oh yeah, this game is over. Whether if they kick this field goal or whether they score another 6 points here, it was pretty much out of reach from there.
Yeah, well, and letting Herbert get loose a couple times, and then they took a flag. When they had him stopped to start the third quarter. After the first drive out, they had him stopped after Herbert had snapped off a little run, and then they get the 15-yarder, which ends up being a touchdown the next play to Gus Edwards. So that
Yeah.
swings a lot of things too. But yeah, I feel like both these teams they're not too far rosterly different. Like both solid defensively, both don't have a grade of skill positions, but like when it comes down to quarterback play, there's a huge drop off. I feel like compared from Herbert to Nix, and to your point, basically, like even on 3rd and 20, like if the play callers allow, I feel comfortable that Herbert is live to make that throw across the seam or some, a deep post out or something. It's like where Bo Nix, I feel like he's gonna give you 8 to 12 yards most of the time and take the underneath thing. And if he ends up taking a shot, it's going to be definitely a dicey, ball down the field. So when it comes to situations like that, especially at home, even though the Chargers don't really have much of a home field advantage, it's just like I feel like you got to go with, coaching is pretty split. You could lean a little Peyton there, obviously, because he's got the pedigree in the NFL, but like you got to lean quarterback there. I think at the end of the day, when the rosters are that tight, both are playing for the same thing. Both on short weeks, split home field. And that's what the line said, -2.5. Right? It's supposed to be a coin
Yeah.
flip essentially.
For sure. The tale of two halves, in my opinion. First half was all Broncos. Second half was all Chargers. It's not about how you start; it's about how you finish, and they finished strong.
And the Broncos reaped the benefits of that last week, right? They got dominated, and this is somebody that had a Colts on a crazy teaser for +13. I think the teaser is +13 and landed 17. I had basically Colts +17.5. They fell 18 because of you saw what unfolded between the Jonathan Taylor fumble and then the wheels came off the wagon after that. Basically, they rattled off 21, 24 unanswered. But Colts dominated the whole first half of the game. Like, they made Bo Nix throw 3 interceptions. I don't know if it was by half, but he had 3 INTs in the game. They were running the ball. And then, I'm sure you've seen the whole thing with JT, but
letting go of the ball at the goal line.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes it goes your way first, but it tells you like these games, man, and I get caught up in it a lot of times. A lot of people do. It's like you get caught up in what you're watching is what's going to play out. You assume, hey, this guy caught 5 balls in the first half, he's going to catch 5 or 6 in the second half. And that's where I think people get in trouble sometimes. Like I always am a big fan of trying to just buy low on opportunities. Like if somebody's statistically over the course of a game, or like a team like the Chargers over the course of the game are supposed to be favored, then, a few opportunities to have lower on their projections, lower on the point spread. That's where I like to get involved.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's just these lines, man. The thing I notice about these books is that they're just so on point, bro. Like the books are never wrong. And, majority of the time you got to just stick to the books and just kind of, trust it for what it is. But, a lot of people like to go against the grain, do the opposite, and then you see a lot of people walk away with, negative balance and stuff like that. But it is what it is. We kind of just take the L and move on to the next game, just like every other degenerate.
4 for 4.
Yeah, I know, right? It was a long time
what was
overdue.
The multiplier on that 10-1, 12. What did that end up paying for?
7, because I was scared and I took DeAndre Hunter, Green Goblin, when I could have just took his regular points and he would have smashed it. He ended with like 25 points. Yeah, but it's all good.
Win is a
I'll
win.
take it. Yeah, I'll take it. A win is a win. Cool
They're
little
tough to come by.
yeah, 7x flip. Ain't nothing bad about that. But
Thursday night, that's just getting it ramped up for the weekend. I like it.
yeah, pretty much, man, pretty much. But moving on to the next segment, man. We got upset alert. I know we have two really big divisional matchups. One of them being a divisional matchup, another one being a conference matchup. You let me know how you feel about this, but for the game of the week, I have the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Washington Commanders. Um, I really have the Eagles on upset alert, bro. For some reason, I feel like Washington might be able to pull something off this week versus their division rival. What do you think?
I think the sports books hope that you're right. I think that the money and the bets and the public's going to definitely come in on the Eagles as it already has. You know, it's late in the week, so there's already been money to show on it. So, from an aspect of that, like I think you're on the right side overall. But like in this specific game, I'm not impressed with what I don't know if Washington's kind of hitting that, and you see it with rookies all the time. They hit this wall, right? You get
Yeah,
the film out. Defenses are able to adjust, and then you get into winter football. It's really hard to win. These games matter right now. These are for division, and I don't know. The Redskins were so impressive for like the first 8 weeks, and I was caught on the other side of them majority of times than not. So for whatever it's worth, I was wrong on how well that they performed. Jaden specifically, but like I've watched them since the Cowboys game pretty, intensely, and like they don't look, they're not, something's not right. I don't know what it is, but even the Saints game last week, they couldn't close them out. I don't know if they just got lazy, they started resting people, but like it didn't seem easy for them just like it was early in the year. So Phillies, I mean, man, coming from a Cowboys fan, it's tough to say it, but like Philly's buttoned up right now. They are the top dog in my opinion. Is definitely the NFC. Considering health being Detroit's biggest downfall, and then the Packers, I don't know if they're ready for that moment yet, but and the Vikings, I can't get there with Darnold. So yeah, I like this as a game of week because it's gonna matter a lot for playoff positioning.
yeah,
And but man, this is where like sometimes I outsmart myself and I take the Redskins. And you know what? Honestly, even to your point, like the Redskins, no matter how bad they usually are, like Taylor Heineke bad, right? Like they give the Eagles a hard time usually.
for sure.
So especially Redskins first half, I could definitely get there maybe on. I like that it's a morning game for some reason. I don't know why, but like I just maybe history is throwing me off, but I feel like I've taken Redskins, but it's usually a bigger line here. It's usually like +6.5, +8.5, so
Yeah, it's
it's
a
hard to
tight
say
line
resist.
for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So, but if I was gonna play the Redskins, I'd probably play in first half. Even though Philly, I think, is on some crazy tear for first half. I don't remember correctly, but anyways, ultimately, I think, yeah, I could see the upset, bro. I could see it, but I would have to roll with the Eagles just based off of who's playing at
It's
a top
fair.
notch. Man, and like the Philly's got so much like internal stuff that's gonna blow up at some moment too. Like, but I think hopefully that shows up in the playoffs and maybe not in this game.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I think Philly is definitely one of the more buttoned up teams from top to bottom. I mean, the defense is playing lights out. The offense was having a few issues, but I guess that got cleared up last week with the Hurts to AJ Brown connection, and Saquon's just been playing out of his helmet. So I could see why you got the Eagles, but for some reason, bro, like it just seems like just like one of those games where the Eagles could get caught by surprise. Do also remember that Marshawn Lattimore just played his first game in a Commanders uniform last week. They did what they did. So, maybe he takes away A.J. Brown and now they have to rely on Devontae Smith, or maybe they have to rely heavier on Saquon. And I don't know. It's just a lot of different outcomes. It's not the same Washington team that they faced a couple weeks ago. It's a little bit different. So, gonna have
It's
to
tough to
wait and
beat a team
see.
twice. It's tough.
Yeah,
It's tough. It
especially
always is.
divisional, and
Yeah,
Washington is at home. So
100%.
who knows?
I
It's a
see it,
lot of
but
different situations, honestly.
I think Philly doesn't want to be dropping back and throwing it to AJ Brown a ton. Like I think that was a product of what was going on and some manufactured opportunities there. But ideally, I think they want to give it to Saquon. And speaking of which, like honestly, I feel like since we're on the topic, if somebody wants to put in the chat his prize pick rush yard prop right now, I'm down to give out a couple lineups, just to see who's locked in right now on prize picks and tuning into this game and seeing what we got going on with these props. So if somebody wants to drop that prop in there, um, I'm happy to go ahead and give out a couple lineups on it.
Let me know, chat. Let me know, chat. Let me know, chat.
Anyways, while we wait for that, yeah, man, 3.5 is dangerous, So you could definitely get there in the back door too, because Philly's got to be up by a lot for the Redskins not to cover there too on the back end. They could be down 10 and still get there.
For sure. Okay. How many? Just one winner for this one?
I was gonna take 3.
Okay, so the first 3 is Mike, Wes, and Fat Boy.
There we go.
In that exact order.
Good luck, boys.
If you guys could DM Degen Entertainment on Instagram, let us know what it was, what your answer was, and then we'll take care of you guys.
That'll be for 3 free lineups on Prize Picks. You could play either on Saquon or on something else.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Chat, we did hit 20K, so he gave y'all a 3-for-1. So there you go. There you go. He just gave y'all a 3-for-1 special just like that, just by going to the app and looking at what it is. So that's a W for y'all, man. Make sure you DM Degen Entertainment on Instagram, man. But all right, so you got Eagles, I got Commanders. We'll just say that. We'll just say that then.
Spread or no spread?
Straight money line.
You set up the segment of upset alert, so I have to basically take the Eagles on.
Yeah, you got to play the villain role. I'm assuming.
I'll take the money line. I'm okay with that.
I'll take Commander spread.
All right, fair enough. You got a deal.
Fire. All right, last game we got, and I think this game matters for both teams as well. It's kind of like the same situation. Houston Texans, who are fighting for a playoff spot, versus the Kansas City Chiefs, who are fighting for a first-round bye. This is another one, bro. Same thing. Like, you have a team who's buttoned up top to bottom on offense and defense, and then you have another team that is a young team with a young quarterback, but has like the utmost potential, to beat a team like the Chiefs. What's your thoughts on this one?
So you didn't really take a position on which side, so I get to kind of pick this
one. Yeah, for sure.
All right. So I guess, and it'll balance out. I'll take Houston here, and even I'll take them maybe as an upset. I haven't really liked Houston all year, and I've been looking to fade them, but something just tells me I feel like they have an opportunity to make a statement here. You got a bad line's kind of banged up for the Chiefs. You got Mahomes on a bad ankle, which I know people have gotten caught with their pants down on that before, but just I feel like it's a good spot for the Texans to maybe have one of their better performances. They got this game circled on their calendar all year long. When you get the Super Bowl champs, regardless if it's at home or on the road, like when you're going to play them. You knew well in advance months ago. So for the Chiefs, this game, it matters. They all matter, but
this one,
and
sure.
These guys are all professionals. I don't like to always go off of that, but I just feel like you're going to get their best throw here, and I do think that they could shine between Mixon getting really involved. I think will be the deciding factor if they're able to kind of lean on him and not so much just Stroud making miraculous play after miraculous play on 3rd and longs. But there's a guy again that I'm okay going down swinging with somebody like that, because you're live on 3rd and 15. You're live on 3rd and 17. If you take a holding, he still doesn't have to punt on that drive the way you have to with some of these other quarterbacks, the Derek Carrs or the Bo Nixes and stuff like that. So I'm okay going down swinging with Houston.
Yeah,
I'm okay. I'll take them outright against you, bro.
Yeah, no, honestly, I'm with you on that one. I'm definitely leaning Houston this week as well. Even honestly, outright money line too. I seen that the open spread was -1. It got bumped up to +3.5 for Houston. So it's like the same thing with this Philly and Washington game. Like, same scenario, same type of not quarterbacks, but as far as experience and stuff like that. Young quarterback versus a little experienced veteran quarterback. It's gonna be. I think there's gonna be 2 really great games, and I see both of them clearing the overs as well as far as point total. It'll be one of those games, a shootout.
Yeah, I the only thing to everybody that's playing Prize Picks or whatever player props, you gotta know going in, you might not get a full game of Mahomes. If things go sideways on his ankle, so plan accordingly for that, because there might not be a reboot on him if it gets to the 3rd quarter. There might not be as much, certain volume that you're anticipating there. So, not to say overs are under one way, but just, you got to factor that in.
Yeah.
Because this guy is crazy. He's like Wolverine, how fast he recovers from this stuff. But it's like also he's also one hit away, and the left tackle I've already made. And bro, like Houston has potentially two DPOYs of the on their team.
For sure.
So, and then on the back end they're buttoned up. So yeah, I wanted to make mention of that just because this is a chance where you got a little bit of a Holmes. You know he's not going to be 100%, and you know that the line's not as locked in as it normally is either. So
Facts.
Plan accordingly.
Facts.
Any props that you like in this game?
I'm looking right now on my phone, and one that
I got one that I'm
going
to drop for the chat right here.
Let me know.
Chat, if you end up playing this prop one way or the other, more or less on Prize Picks, and you tag Degen Entertainment in it, we're gonna just pick out a couple people that go ahead and tag us in it. But if it's the Xavier Worthy, the 1.5 rush yards, I want to see some plays on that. And so go ahead and tag them, and then we'll go ahead and pick a winner out of that if you end up playing that to get a free lineup as well.
That'd be fine.
1.5 rush. What's your thoughts on 1.5 rush yards for Worthy?
I can see it.
I mean, if you got a hobbled Mahomes, you're gonna do things to manufacture touches. Andy's crafty that way, so it's basically does he get a touch or not. And I feel like out of the team, outside of the two running backs, who's most likely to get one?
Facts. Worthy. It's got to be. And it's like
we usually go to the
Mahomes.
We've gone to the Turpin, the Cavante Turpin.
True.
Well on Turpin a couple times, and it's every time it hits so easily.
That's facts. Turpin was definitely one of those plays throughout the season that was so ridiculously low that you had to take it. Same thing with Worthy. And it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, what's the best situation for the Chiefs here? Like, okay, you can't rely on Mahomes, obviously, on 3 downs. Like, you got to put the ball into the playmaker's hands. What if it's screen plays? Then you got, your jet sweeps with Worthy, and then now you have Pacheco back. So maybe you see a split backfield with Pacheco and Kareem Hunt in the backfield. You know what I mean? Like, you'll get a lot of different looks, and you definitely got to emphasize putting the ball into your playmaker's hands this week, just because of Mahomes not being 100%.
Yeah. Joe Mixon, man, 61.5 rush yards.
That's
light, yeah.
Super light. I think that's the lowest I've seen him in a while.
I mean, they got the Goblin on 49.5. What's the Demon on him? Demon 79.5.
Even 79.5 seems like a regular.
89.5. Yeah.
I don't know. With that Chiefs defense is so like, I don't want to say inconsistent, but like they have their days where they want to stop the run and then they don't.
Just won't get anything.
Yeah.
But then exactly.
But then Aiden O'Connell chalks them up for like 350 yards, and
they'll
Brock
do a lot
Bowers.
Of what the Chargers did tonight, right? Like they'll be
sure.
like elite for a half, and then they'll like let whatever they decide happen. It's usually when they had the lead and they dominate in the first half, and then they kind of take the gas off. But yeah, they're definitely. And Mixon, man, you're not asking for too much to get to 61. I feel like he's got to clear that easily if the Texans are going to get.
No, yeah, facts. Because you gotta. I mean, the best way to beat Mahomes is keep the ball out of his hands. Long drives, long established drives, get the run game going super early in the game. Don't let Mahomes get too many possessions because, healthy or not, Mahomes is still Mahomes. I mean, we've seen it before, like in the Super Bowl. When they beat the Eagles, Mahomes was not playing on a healthy ankle and stuff like that. So really the objective is establish the run game, make sure Mahomes doesn't get a lot of time of possession, and that should be the formula to beat them, especially playing in Kansas City.
Yeah, and you keep them fresh, and they get after them when they're on the field.
Yep, exactly. I like that. But those are the two upset alerts. I got Commanders over Eagles and Texans over Chiefs. I think those are two big games that I feel like some people are looking at, but then I feel like people are looking away because, they think the Eagles and Chiefs are the best two teams in their conferences. It's going to be blowouts, but there's a lot of certain factors that people don't know. Like, a lot of people don't know Mahomes is actually playing hurt right now. So I take it for what it's worth, man. I like that. I like these two games. These are obviously the two games of the week, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, other than the Ravens and Steelers, I think you pick the two best ones for sure.
Yeah, you know how those Steeler games go. We're going to see like 5 field goals and a couple.
So, that was the biggest mousetrap. If you want to do just a second on that, like last week, I feel bad because like everybody has been cashing on the Steelers all year long as an underdog. They've been winning outright. They've flown over their season win total already. Tom was up for coach of the year, but like they were catching 5.5 last week in Philly, and Philly's all this turmoil, AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts, all this stuff. It's like the fact that that line was so high, you knew. Like, that was one I was on the right side. I'll tell you when I'm on the right side and the wrong side, but like that one I knew just because I'm like, this is normally like, if Pittsburgh's going to be live to win this, it's 2.5, 3.
Yeah.
It's not no 5.5. They are setting this, and I can't believe like people were going for because how could you not? Pittsburgh had been so good to them all year, so I get just riding the train, but finally I jumped off. Was
Yeah.
able to, so. And I had faded the Steelers a couple times this year and been on the wrong side of it. But that one, I was just like, man, this is 2 points, 2.5 points, way too many considering everything that's going on with Philly right now. And like I said earlier, I think, Sirianni, there's something weird going on there that will probably rear its head up in the playoffs at some point. But
Yeah.
there's definitely some under the hood turmoil going on there.
Yep. It's definitely going to be it's going to be one of those games.
But that Pittsburgh Ravens game is interesting, man. It's again, it seems like the rule of thumb back before, like before sports books had so much action and just like, now so many eyes, so many apps and everything. Like the rule of thumb in this game for like 10 years, basically, like when Flacco was basically in command there and Big Ben was there, but just this rivalry. It's like if you had an opportunity to take one side at +3.5, you just did it. You blindly took it. You didn't think about records. Even though a lot of times the Ravens were the better team, they were winning Super Bowls a lot of those times. But Steelers were also competitive, and Ravens were down a couple times in there too. So it was just blind 3.5, and it worked out probably, I want to say, better than 80% even. And but now it's like, man, you get these crazy lines, 6.5, and it's like this is insanely high. Like I don't know, I don't know if I go to the well of twice fading the Steelers on that big of a line just because they know Lamar as well as anybody. And Lamar usually doesn't do as well against like familiar opponents as the way he does against like the NFC. You look at his NFC numbers, I think he's lost like 2 games total or something like that.
It's crazy what his record is against the NFC.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that one's interesting. I don't even think I'm gonna touch it because the line is just like it went from 5.5 to 6.5. I think Pickens is supposed to play. I believe last I heard.
Yeah.
So it's moving the other way.
I think notable injuries is George Pickens is officially ruled out. Deshaun Elliott.
Okay. So there you go. Okay.
Yeah, they're starting safety Deshaun Elliott for the Steelers. He's doubtful, so you could pretty much say he's not playing. Justin Fields is out.
TJ Watt was also questionable, I think, too.
Yeah, I don't see him on the injury report, so he must be cleared.
Okay.
Justin Fields is out, so don't expect any like last second field packages coming in to like run the ball.
Dynamic. Yeah, you're right. So.
And then for the Ravens, I mean, their wide receiver core looks pretty banged up. You got Aguilar and Bateman who are questionable with Deontay Johnson being out. So maybe that affects the way Lamar throws the rock this week. Who knows?
Shout out to Deontay Johnson, who like was doing fine on the Panthers, by the way, and I drafted him in fantasy leagues, and he was a great value.
Yeah.
But like, and then the Ravens, like the worst team he goes to, it's like, why would they? It's like just to never use the guy.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either.
Too. Like he always like tests like the metrics, like yards, separation yards, and everything. Like
yeah.
Always 2.8, 3 yards separation for route run. Some metric that I don't know, but PFF throws it around. It sounds really great. So, but he was a good fantasy steal. He was the target magnet for Bryce Young, and they were getting that thing, or especially when Dalton came in. But now that Bryce Young's playing a little bit better too, I'm like, man, that was unfortunate.
Facts.
Anyway, stop my little rant. Not that.
No, you good. I like those type of discussions. Somebody asked if you could take it at plus or minus 6.5. Who would you take, Baltimore or Pittsburgh? They got Pittsburgh plus 6.5 and Baltimore minus 6.5.
Watt's playing. I think I would take the 6.5 division. Like usually my rule is anything 7 or better in divisions. You take it too, just familiarity. This one obviously falls a little short, but I just think, I mean, they know Lamar so well. They've just seen him so many times that I just, and the Steelers, they get like silly luck stuff on special teams that keeps them in games. A lot of muff punts or punts for like they just block punts. Like they manufacture points when they're not really supposed to, and they should lose by bigger margins or not win games.
Yeah.
But they are just crafty enough or buttoned up enough on those other little elements of the game, that not other teams are. So they just stick around. So I think when you get them as this big of a dog back-to-back weeks, I'd probably lean, even though as much as I hate them, I would go Pittsburgh on that one.
Plus 6.5 for sure. It just makes sense. It just makes sense, especially how you said they know Like, even I seen analysts talk about it, like, oh, for some reason when Lamar plays the Steelers, he, just kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? But like, he's not
He
Lamar. He's
becomes
not
human, right?
himself.
He
Yeah,
just becomes human. You see
for
it.
sure.
Like, and you know what? Another one, since we're on that topic, another guy that does that, that's superhuman versus a lot of the other league, is Joe Burrow against the Browns. Like, I don't know what Myles Garrett's situation is, but like, and that's a huge line. That's a huge underdog. But the Browns give Burrow fits for whatever reason it is. So,
Yeah.
and that's a massive 8.5 in that division game. Like right there, I already told you what I'm taking.
Yep.
And I don't even hate having the Browns there. I think that Cincy, I don't know when they're gonna get exposed because they've been playing. They got to play the Titans. They got to play the Cowboys. They get to play all these terrible quarterbacks and mediocre coach teams. But
Yep.
their defense is just waiting to just give up a 50 piece. I feel like to an elite team.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I don't think Winston's starting this week. I think they benched him.
Yeah, I know. That's the only thing is like DTR is just like roll with, and like I don't even think Nick Chubb is playing right now. So it's like you are just you're playing on the defense. Like I had Titans last week and it didn't obviously work out on them, but I had them first quarter, first half, and game. So it worked out early in the game. They were able to run right down the. I mean, Will Levis could make open throws, and Tony Pollard was running up and down the field on them. So like it definitely, but you just can't. These guys like Levis and stuff like that, they just manufacture points for the other team. He threw. I don't even. It felt like 3 pick sixes in a matter of 2 minutes.
No, for sure.
I don't know what he exactly did, but it was something like that. He's like Winston 2.0, and I love Winston, but
yeah,
I wish Winston was playing this game.
For sure.
He might end up though. And that's something too. You got to factor like DTR is bad enough where he might not last very long.
Yeah, I can see him benching him and then putting Winston in like the second half.
I think, bro, like I was listening today. It's not my own information, but like they have him for somebody that's thrown over 100 attempts or something like that. The worst rated like quarterback, like 66 rated or something. Like it's terrible.
Nah, yeah.
It's bad. So I don't know, man. I would love to be playing the Browns money line if Winston was playing, to be honest.
For sure.
Because like even last week, Tony, or even the week before against Steelers, like Tony's muffin punts. Yeah, he's throwing interceptions, but those can very easily kind of flip the other way, and the Browns win some of those games,
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Winston. You're so live. They couldn't even get that with Watson. Like if Watson even gave him some of that home run swings, they would have been way more contention. But
that's facts.
So
I like that.
I always like taking the underdog with Winston. I hope he play. If he gets in the game, if DTR gets knocked out early or something, I'm definitely jumping in on Browns early or money line live.
On the live, yeah, no, for sure. That it just makes sense.
And it'll be fat. It'll be 3-1. It'll be 4, especially if the Bengals have an early lead.
Yeah,
4 or 5-1.
That actually would be nice. That doesn't sound like a bad idea. It really doesn't. Yeah. That's funny. 100%. We're just gonna have to wait and see. I'd hate to root against DTR, man, but from the way it's looking, I just don't know why they would bench Winston. It's not like Winston's been playing bad. That's the thing. Like,
no, but he just throws. He does some crazy stuff.
Yeah, he does. He definitely does.
So, but for somebody that's been in the league that long, it's insane.
Yeah, like remember he had that 30 for 30 season, 30 picks, 30 touchdowns.
It's epic.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
I can't believe
crazy.
That ESPN hasn't just taken that layup. It's fruit on the floor.
Literally. All right, man. Moving on to the next segment, chat. We got our Degen hotline. So we're gonna bring in a couple of you guys into the call. Ask a question, whether if it's about a certain line, a game, any type of question you guys got for me or my boy Brandon. Let us know what it is, and then we'll discuss it with you. We're only gonna take a couple of you guys. It is in the Degen ENT Discord. So if you guys aren't in the Discord, get in the Discord right now. We're bringing people in. I already see a couple of you guys waiting in the general room. Let's bring one in. I'm gonna bring Izzy in here. Let me see. Yo, Izzy, can you hear me? Hold on, let's see. I know his mic's muted. There it is. Yo,
what's up?
What's good, bro? How you doing?
Good.
All right, man. This is the Degen hotline. Any question you got, bro, for me or Brandon or both of us, let me know what you got.
I was wondering, how did y'all feel about Carlton Towns going back to Minnesota and wiping them boys out today?
B, you want to go first?
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Like, that was more relevant for you, man. I'll tell you how I feel. Cat in a second and the NBA in general. Cat
Yeah.
is almost what sums up why I have a problem with the NBA. But go ahead.
All right, so check this out, right? So initially, just looking at that game and just knowing, like, okay, you got the Knicks playing the Timberwolves, you got Randall playing his old team, Cat playing his old team. I think the obvious take here was to take both of their points to go over. Even their Red Demons, I don't know what Randall's Red Demon was, but I saw Cat was like at for a 30 piece. I definitely saw Cat putting up at least 30. So, I mean, if you played this game, if you took Randall and Cat for their points outright, you definitely went 2 for 2 because they both went crazy. So that's how I feel. I kind of saw it coming. It just was a perfect narrative. Cat has definitely been playing out of his mind while he's been on the Knicks. And another thing is that Thibodeau does not rest his starters. You know that's a problem I've had with him this whole season, with how it doesn't matter if they're losing by 30 or if they're up 30. Dibs is going to play his starters the whole way through. So even if you took him under or you didn't play him today, I think it was a crazy idea because that was definitely something that you wanted to take. It's a revenge game. You got to play the narratives, you know, at least the ones that make the most sense. And, you know, it definitely came to fruition. You had Cat drop a 30 piece, Randall dropped I think about 24. It just made absolute sense.
Yeah, I agree, bro. I mean, like the NBA is all about like who's gonna show up for effort night to night, and trying to forecast that is damn near impossible. And that's why I don't really, unless just from a small betting, entertainment value, but like to actually try to make money or something, I could never encourage betting the NBA. But I just don't know it that well because I don't lock into all these games. But it's partly because it's a hard product to watch sometimes for me, because these guys, you don't know what they're doing the night before or how engaged they are. But definitely, like to what you're saying, here's a beautiful opportunity for you to take the low hanging fruit with Cat going home. And man, like he dropped 32 with only 12 field goal attempts, which is just insane. Like that, you could never expect that type of level of production, but insane game for him. 20 rebounds though tells you kind of everything, like how engaged somebody is. I always look at those type of metrics to see like really where teams are, and rebounds are one of them, especially offensive rebounds. So, yeah, he was getting after it, bro. And I think overall, like this game don't mean really much in the grand scheme of things, but I do think the Timberwolves in general are they're gonna have probably a step back from how good they were last year. So
For sure. I didn't think it was right for them to trade Cat. Like, you're not far away from having a championship contending team, and trading away Cat for what though? Like, what did you get out of it? I feel like you downgrade from Cat to Julius Randle, and like Dante DiVincenzo hasn't been doing a lot of production. Like, what? How many points did he have today? 7. Yeah, DiVincenzo ended with 15 points, so he did do what he had to do. But still, like, DiVincenzo hasn't been playing what you think he would play after watching him last season on the Knicks and having like that crazy run where he was having like 30-point games and stuff like that. If anything, you made the Knicks better, and you just made it a lot more harder within your conference to be able to, get closer to the NBA Finals. So I'll never really understand that Cat trade. That's good for Cat though, because this trade definitely worked in his favor. The Knicks are that much stronger. I mean, they're 17-10. Then you got the Wolves who are 14-12. So they're not that far off in records, but I just feel like one team digressed and the other one progressed majorly.
It's a superstar league, right? So it's like if you can acquire all stars, you give up all the B pluses, and now you pair him with Jalen Brunson versus like who's Minnesota rolling with after Ant. It's like your next best player is Julius Randle, who's always been a B player. Like he's had some little flashes maybe of a A minus, but like really he's always been a solid B, and he's worked hard to get to that point, but he shoots way too many threes for my liking. And then after that, like who's your superstar? It's Gobert, who's like, a rim protector and, he can get you buckets at the rim, but he's really limited offensively. And I think Minnesota's still missing a second piece for Ant.
Yeah. You want to hear a crazy stat line? Listen to this. Rudy Gobert, 22 minutes, 1 for 1 from the field with 4 rebounds.
Yeah.
3 points total. Like,
I mean, the Knicks weren't missing many shots for him to get boards on, but at least some offense been nice. He only had one of those.
Yeah. And it's like it goes back to Ant, and like Julius Randle has always been the player where it's hard to, give the rock to other players. If you have a player like Randall who likes to play hero ball, now you bring him into Minnesota with Anthony Edwards, who is used to playing hero ball with this team. Now you got two people who are taking majority of the shots. What if one of them's on an off night and now the other one's getting double teamed because they know the other one's off? Like, who's your next best player for Minnesota? Like, you can't expect Mike Conley to go drop you 25 points anymore. Same thing with Jaden McDaniels. That's a pure defender. Rudy's not getting any looks because of that situation. So, like I said, the whole Cat trade, it just never made sense to me. It's obviously showing. So it's gonna be a longer road for the Wolves to get back to being contenders. But I feel like the Knicks are literally right there. Like, I think if Tibbs just kind of fixes how he rotates his players and doesn't play them at these high minutes, come playoff time, they won't be banged up. They won't be hurting, limping come playoff season. And I think they'll ultimately have a really great roster to put together a really good run.
Yeah. And I also have another question. How you feel about Travis Kelce this week? Is he going to score to break the record? Because he ain't scoring like I don't even know if he scored this whole year, right? Like,
yeah, Noah Gray's definitely been the play there. That's for sure.
For sure.
Noah Gray. Yeah.
For sure, Noah Gray. And it's so funny because Kelsey has had this one touchdown away from breaking the record narrative for like, I think the last 4 to 5 weeks. It's been like this.
So like, if you're gonna get in on Kelsey, I feel like now, because like, again, you want to take advantage of situational stuff. It's like it's almost tight end week 2.0 because you got Trey McBride screaming for touches now. Like, man, Kyler Murray's tweeted they're gonna get him a touchdown, so it's like maybe it's a whole, this little second 2.0 of tight end week or something like that, where Kelsey gets one. Because I know he got one that week. I'm pretty sure because they all did. Like, if you played him that week, you ate on tight end week that day.
Yeah.
I remember we broke that down one night. Like, how there was very few and far between how many we could find that didn't score.
Facts.
But
yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't be looking to be playing in too much of Kelsey right now until it gets to the playoffs. I think they're gonna try to probably limit him, keep him right, and they're locked into at least a top position in the playoffs. They obviously want home field, but I don't think Kelsey has to be a huge part of them doing that if they're going to win these games down the stretch. It's going to just be more or less on Mahomes' ankle and if that defense shows up or not. So from a standpoint of putting money and stuff, I would still be looking to buy low on Noah Gray if his opportunities are still there. He's been so low many weeks in a row because he's not on the field a ton, but when they're definitely looking his way a lot.
Facts. Noah Gray is like the red zone favorite right now. It's kind of crazy, but it's definitely reversed. Kelsey's getting more targets.
He still gets a couple crazy, like, just when Mahomes does get out of the pocket, which I don't know. Again, the whole thing with the Chiefs this week too. Like, we already kind of prefaced this. Be careful, because I don't know what to expect out of that whole passing game in general.
Yeah, especially with Mahomes being hurt.
And if Wentz comes in, Wentz is definitely known to hyper target a tight end. So maybe Kelsey eats crazy if Wentz ends up getting in there too.
Yeah.
Security blankets this week for sure. Anyways, man.
Appreciate you, Ozzy.
Appreciate you. For sure.
Yes, good luck this week, bro.
You too.
All right, man. That was good. That's cool. Those are some good questions. Yeah,
I like it, bro. I like it a lot.
All right, let's bring
Shout out to Ozzy.
Let's bring in the fan
Ozzy,
favorite.
Make sure to DM Degen Entertainment. We got a free lineup for you.
Fire. Let's bring in the fan favorite. Let's bring in my guy A-Bear.
There we go. Let's hear it.
The
This
fan
guy should have all the answers to the questions before you even ask them.
Yeah, I know, right? Let's bring in the fan favorite. A-Bear, what's good with you, bro?
Yo. Wait, hold on. Let me switch this to Xbox real quick. I can't hear you on this phone.
No, it's crazy, chat. A-Bear, when it comes to like trivia, for some reason, you would thought he's like behind the scenes looking at our notes. Because every time we send in a question for trivia, he'd be the first one to answer it. Literally.
Yeah, you would think I had preloaded all the answers to A-Bear.
No, for sure.
He's the reason we had to put a cap on how many people win per giveaway.
Yeah, facts. A-Bear, what's good with you, bro?
Yo, what's up?
All right, man. What you got for us, bro?
All right. Wait, this is like anything about like NFL or
Yeah. What any kind of question.
All right. Are the Seahawks gonna make the playoffs? They verse the Vikings, the Bears, and then we verse the Rams.
Vikings, Bears, Rams, playoff hopes. Let's see. Let's look at the standings. Let's go look at the standings. This is NBA. I need NFL standings. Let's see.
Where are we sitting right now? Seattle.
We're half a game behind first place.
8-6, but you're gonna play probably the Rams. It's gonna end up deciding.
It's gonna come down to that last game,
For sure.
Do you guys
but I just don't know.
probably win the Bears game? Is it Minnesota at home this week, or it's in Minnesota?
No,
Oh,
it's in
at
Seattle,
home.
but it doesn't really matter if it's in Seattle or not.
Yeah,
Um,
interesting. You guys are 3-point underdogs that originally opened up as 4.5-point favorites. So the money's moving in your direction. That's always a good signal.
yeah,
So people
it's
are
because
buying low.
Gino's playing this week.
Yeah. What was remind me his injury? Because like is he
It
gonna
was
be
a
limited
knee
as well?
injury, but
Yeah,
it,
he's
it,
not expected
it looked
to.
more like an ankle. I don't know.
Is he playing?
But yeah, it was a knee. Yeah, he's gonna play. He practiced full today, and so did Kenneth Walker. So Kenneth Walker might also play.
I mentioned it earlier, and I'm looking to buy a little off of Sam Darnold and this whole performance that he's had. You know, I think it's definitely more manufactured Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
You know, scheme wise, Darnold's doing a great job. You know, staying in the role, but like I do expect some of this to kind of taper down at some point for the Vikings. And in Seattle, it's hostile, man. I wish it was. I mean, they had their night game last week. They choked it off against the Packers, but it would be tough for me to fade them in this spot. But then you get the Bears probably in Chicago. I'm assuming the next week. That could be tricky. It's on a Thursday too, so it's going to be a short week. You're traveling to Chicago.
Yeah.
Honestly, Bear, I don't think they get in, to be honest. And even if they do, I think it doesn't really even matter, bro. Like, I think it's irrelevant. This team is not built to win playoff games with Geno Smith at the helm at the end of the day. They have a ton of talent offensively. They got enough pieces on the defense, but I still think they're missing like an elite pass rusher on the edge and a couple other like maybe linebackers. I don't know if they ever replaced like Bobby Wagner and stuff like that.
No, Ernest Jones, we traded for him mid-season. He's been really good.
Yeah.
It's more of our O-line, if I'm being honest. It's very, very bad.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. If it comes down to the division winner, I got the Rams winning that division, bro.
Just from a
I
coaching
do.
aspect too, like I
Yeah.
can't fade McVay in a must-win game to get to
Yeah.
the playoffs because the Rams are a team like who wants to really play them come in the playoffs? Even the
Nobody.
Eagles, the top dog, they don't want to play the Rams. You know, like they're just so. You know, Stafford he's one of those guys. He's a gunslinger. Yeah, he could throw a couple picks in crucial situations, but he can also throw that same throw for a touchdown that's a game winner. So
Yeah.
nobody wants to see that team. And with Geno, I just feel like that team makes a lot of just mistakes in general. They remind me of my Cowboys. Like they can't even get out of their own way to start competing with some of these teams that want to be in the playoffs.
That's facts.
They got too many negative plays manufactured. Geno sacks, penalties, things like that. You know, the O-line obviously being as bad as it plays a huge part into that, but just that a lot of that's coaching and it's a lot of it is like culture, you know, like just these different cultures are more buttoned up than other places. Dallas is not one of them, you know, and Seattle right now is not one of those either, just from an O-line aspect.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. I mean, you got them going up against the Rams at literally the last game of the season in LA. It just comes down to experience and coaching. And I mean, you got Stafford versus Geno. You got to go with Stafford. And then you got McVay versus who's the Seahawks head coach?
McDonald.
Yeah, see,
Mike
like
McDonald.
yeah, see, I didn't even know who the head coach was, bro. That should just tell you everything
Nah,
right there.
that's
Like
him.
you gotta go with the Rams, bro. And just in this situation, like
That's the old DC for the Ravens, yeah.
I don't know. The defense was playing really well against the Packers. It wasn't as great, but
Actually, I feel like
mean,
they did a good job kind of keeping it together.
yeah, in the
for-
second half,
Yeah.
I think Jacobs had like 10 carries for like 15 yards, so we were holding him, but the pass game was killing us, and Sam Howell. But
But
yeah,
yeah,
no.
Seattle's not a team I like to bet against because they have so much firepower outside of like the O-line. Well, if they can get the ball out to these players, they're dangerous every which way. Over the top with DK, Jackson's the number one now all of a sudden. I love Kenneth Walker. Charbonnet's an elite second, you know, so they're scary when they can, you know, keep Geno upright or get the ball out. Even with Lockett too, like he's such an amazing playmaker, just like with his hands and the catches he's made over the course of his career too. So Seattle's always a scary team for me to bet against, just because like I'm always scared. Like if they just find out a way to get the ball out quickly, or just like the O line's holding up a little bit, and Gino's, throwing 80%, 75% that day, it's gonna be tough to stop them. You know, um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't think they get in though. To answer your original question,
I got the
sucks.
Rams, bro. I know the truth hurts, but
got a quarterback again, right? You go quarterback and coaching at the end of the day. NFL is so dependent. You got McVay
Yeah.
and Stafford versus Gino and first year head coach.
yep. I agree.
That's
I'm
true.
with them on that one.
That's true.
Hi,
You got another one, Bear?
Yeah, sure. Well, since you're a Cowboy fan, Brandon, I was wondering, I saw this trade package for Micah Parsons that the Seahawks would send. It'd be 2 first-round picks, Kenneth Walker, and Derek Hall, who's a Seahawks edge rusher. I was wondering if you would take that or maybe counter it with something else.
If I was the Cowboys, I'd be in sell mode that I could acquire as much assets as I could, and just come to terms with reality that you don't have a true contending team, and at best you're going to always be a team that's going to make it to the second round at best, and that's with everybody healthy and everybody playing really above above expectations, essentially. Because I don't think Dak's one of those elite guys. He's a good B guy that if you built enough around him and a good defense around him, for sure. Parsons is like obviously an amazing talent, but I think that these guys, these edge rushers, they're available. You can find them on the back end of their career a little bit to come in and play specialists. Parsons is not even out there all the time too. Like he's definitely a late game disruptor when he is, but you can find 1 year deal Chase Young's. Not that Chase Young had an amazing production year, but like guys like that are available, maybe that can do similar things, and then you can bolster up your offensive line and get rid of Zeke's contract, and they got to go back into rebuild mode because they just don't have a winning roster right now, in my opinion. But I would acquire as many first rounds. Yeah. And then you can even, first rounds, you can liquidate those to so many other draft capitals later in the draft, because people go on these quarterback frenzies, and maybe you want to stick with Dak and you ride out and he's going to be healthy eventually one day. So then you let a team that's deprived, the Titans, trade you their later first and another second pick for it, and then you acquired that basically another pick for free, and you didn't really have plans of drafting a quarterback that situation. So I think if you can acquire assets like that right now and you're not in contention, start liquidating.
I agree. I'd make that trade in a heartbeat. It solves your running back issue. You get 2 first-round picks on top of that, and then I would do it.
The only problem I have with that trade is like Kenneth Walker. I'm not a fan of, you can't pay running backs right now. Like it's just
He can't stay healthy. He's always injured.
and he's kind of already approaching the back nine. He's not there yet, but he's definitely on the back nine. I'm sorry, but he's not like at 18. He's somewhere in the middle of that back nine. So for running backs, they have that cliff and Kenneth Walker's already had that injury history. So if he's expecting to come in and get the premium, that's probably just gonna be a 1-year deal or something that you end up cutting, or maybe you trade that asset away too for picks. But you can't pay. Go look at the last 20 Super Bowl winners and look at the salary of the running backs on each one of those teams. It's not over $1 million, I don't think. LeGarrette Blount and Leonard Fournette are the two or the highest paid ones, and they were on like 1-year deals for $1 million.
Yeah, that is
so
facts.
Super Bowl winning teams don't have the elite running backs that we think. They don't have LaDainian Thomasons. They don't have Todd Gurley's. They don't have Chris Johnson's, right? Like so we love them from a fantasy aspect, but they don't. That's not what wins. If you really want to win, now if you want to fill the seats, go get Bijan Robinson, or go get Kenneth Walker, whatever you want to do with that. But if Jerry ever wants to get back to winning, which I don't think he really cares about as much, I would start liquidating, getting out of some of these bad contracts, and start rebuilding that O line. Get a running back late that can pop off, get some new coaching that can do some schematics. Our offense is so vanilla and basic. We have no motion, no movement, no secondary, really. Turpin should be touching the ball 8 to 10 times. So yeah. That's the long answer of it, Bear. There's a lot to go on in Dallas. Getting back into winning.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fixing things that you guys need to do for both teams, for Seattle and Dallas, honestly. I mean, you guys are kind of almost in the same situation. Like, you don't have an elite quarterback. Your run game is isn't as what it used to be, especially with the Cowboys. Defensively, you have pieces, but like I said, like there's just so many holes to fill on both
Zach
sides of the ball.
Martin on his, you Tyron Smith last year, you lost him though. Martin is hurt and done. Like you got to rebolster that up. That's where it all starts in the trenches.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wouldn't pay Parsons. I would trade him if you could, definitely.
I like that, man.
I mean, you just see how active too. Like Philly's always they've been at the top for the last couple years now, or not even a couple, but like they're always so active, for better or for worse, every offseason.
Yeah.
There's somebody. That's how the Cowboys used to operate back when Jerry really wanted to win. If a primetime player came available, Jerry was making the first phone call. Primetime, Charles Haley, Pac-Man Jones, you name it. Like if they became available back in the day, Jerry was all over it. Now it's not like that anymore. That's the Eagles. That's how the Eagles run it. Even Sirianni's on the hot seat all the time. It's like, McCarthy, how long are you gonna have this job and just be mediocre with it?
Yeah.
And then be basic, and you're getting blown out at home on playoff games, and you're getting blown out at home all regular season. Like this is crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge fan of like firing the coach in the middle of the season, to be honest. But like, man, he's had a nice run at it. It's time to shake the whole thing up.
Yeah. How long has McCarthy been a coach? Like 4 years?
I want to say he's on. Yeah, this might be year 5. I want to say.
That's a long time for
That is.
not a lot of. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Cowboys are different. It's different organization standards, right? So when you're the Yankees, the Lakers, and the Dallas Cowboys, you operate at a whole different caliber because those are worldwide brands that should have worldwide standards. Essentially, it's like you're not under the radar; you're under the the limelight essentially every week, and you're getting mega spotlight TV situations. So you got to be even quicker, I think, to make moves and acquisitions and shake things up versus some of these other teams. It's like, I don't care how bad the Titans really are; they could be bad for a decade. I'm not going to give a shit. It's not going to really impact the league that much. But when the Cowboys are relevant, it's really good for the NFL the same way the Knicks good for the NBA. And like these markets, Dallas, there's not a bigger market than the Dallas Cowboys.
Shout out Tones for the paper crane, man. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Especially with the draft too. The Eagles have been going absolutely insane in these last like 2 to 3 drafts, bro. Grabbing key pieces, especially with Georgia, bro. Like
It's like they don't miss with their draft picks either.
they have not been missing. Like Cooper DeJean, second round, they got him in the second round and paired him up with like come on, bro. It's like the Eagles keep getting away with it for the last 3 years, getting huge players at a crazy value, like Jalen Carter last year too.
Yeah,
crazy
I can't
value.
believe the Bears
Yeah.
passed on Carter.
That's crazy,
Yeah.
man.
But like, if I was blindly drafting, just give me the best next available SEC player. And I feel like that's what Philly does sometimes. It's like, all right, our guys are gone. Who's the next best defensive SEC player? Go ahead and give us him.
Yeah,
That's how Seattle used to draft too, like during the Pete Carroll days and like with the Legion Boom and all that stuff was going on. It's like they were just like, give me the next best SEC. It's just like those guys produce, man. They're at that. It's basically the SEC is like the closest bridge that you have from college football to the NFL, essentially.
Yeah.
That is true. It's too, like, I don't know. SEC players are just built different, literally. Built different.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you, A-Bear. We'll definitely get you a free lineup for this weekend for coming on. Thank you for the great questions, bro.
Thank you. Yep. All right, later.
All right, later, A-Bear. All right, man.
One more yet?
Yeah, we got one more. Let's bring him in here. Let me see. All right, got one. Oh, they ended up leaving the call. They're probably on like their consoles and stuff. All right, shit. That was the last one with A-Bear.
All right.
That was the last one. On to the next one, man. Appreciate you guys coming in, doing the Degen hotline, man. Getting on to the next segment. I kind of want to.
How do they end up getting picked for the hotline? Let them know.
So, chat, if you guys want to come in for the Degen hotline, you got to be in the Degen ENT Discord. If you guys need to get into the Discord, it's the link in our bio on all our socials. So just click on the link. It'll take you to an external link. It's in the link tree. Join the Discord. And then you guys join one of the chat rooms. We drag you in, ask your favorite question. We'll answer it for you guys live on stream. And you might be able to walk away with something. But make sure you guys get in the Discord, man. Degen ENT. If you need the link, DM us for the link. It's in our bio. However you need to get it, let us know. We'll get y'all the link. Let's see, man. B, let's get into the next segment.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm gonna switch this up a little bit. I want to jump into our special guest hot seat. I want to hit you with these rapid fire questions. All right.
I'm excited, bro. What do you got?
All right. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, chat. He's gonna have a minute to answer these questions. All right. 1 minute. Rapid fire questions. 10 questions. Here we go. We're gonna get to know our boy Brandon from Prize Picks. All right. You ready, B?
Yes, sir.
All right. Timer is starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. First question. Which NFL team has been the biggest surprise this season?
Commanders.
All right. Who is your NBA Finals prediction?
OKC Boston.
All right. For wings, do you like flats or drums?
Ooh, smaller drums, or I'll take the flats. But oversized drums are crazy.
All right, bet. NBA, which player do you think is the most overrated
Player or team?
player?
Man, that's tough. Oh man, most overrated. Bronny.
Got it. What's your most controversial sports opinion?
Controversial sports opinion. I'll pass on that one.
All
Come
right.
back to that one. I'm not sure about that.
All right. NFL MVP.
Yeah, I gotta stay out of legal trouble there, bro. I gotta be careful what I say.
Now you good. NFL MVP.
NFL, man, I missed it. I was a year early. I bet him last year. I don't have any money on him this year. Josh Allen.
All right. Dark horse NBA championship team.
Dark horse. Are Mavs considered dark horse? I had them last year, man. They didn't cash for me. I didn't hedge either. I had 50-1. Mavs considered, or because they were there, it's not a dark horse really. Who could make an acquisition? Who could? Warriors. I'll take the Warriors.
Okay. Biggest sporting event you've attended.
What comes to mind? I went to the SEC. Nick Saban's last win. So he against Bama, against Georgia last year. They beat Georgia as a 5.5-point underdog in the SEC championship game.
Okay. Most memorable interaction with any celebrity or athlete.
Most memorable. As a host, one time I had Amari Cooper in town when I was working at Caesars, and he had to get to the MGM for a fight, and it was like a middle of a Friday or Saturday night, and like he was like not messing with the Uber. He didn't want to, couldn't get him a car quick enough, so I was just like, "Fuck it, bro, jump in." We went to the parking garage. He jumped in my car, and I mashed him down the back ends of the street and everything, and then left him there at the fight so he could, I was like, man, he's gonna ask for a ride back, so I just hung out at the MGM while he was there for like 2 hours. And then he came out, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm in valet waiting for you." Shot him back to the Caesars, and he was just like so grateful. Like after that, he warmed up to me, and then he came out and he threw me a fat $4,000 tip, bro. Shout out to Mari Cooper for that, bro. He blessed me hella.
That's
I thought
fine.
and honestly, he was supposed to be paying for a table at the time, so it was about the same amount. So I thought he was just giving me the money for the table, and he just is like, "Nah, man." He's like, I forget how he said it. Him and his boy. He's like, "We appreciate you, or we recognize something, but so much love." I was so unexpected, and
That's fine.
it was a great experience. Just mobbing with him, and like I was doing my best Fast and Furious impression, and it was working out all right. We got him there in time. He was impressed. So like just that whole experience was memorable.
That's fire. What the? That's a crazy story. Okay, I like that.
Shout out to Mari Cooper.
Yeah, shout out to Mari, man. All right, last question. Your favorite sports movie character?
That's got to be Brandon Lang, Two for the Money. Shout out Matthew McConaughey and that whole movie. Al Pacino's in that. That's a great one.
Fire.
Fucking wolf. Yeah, like he's hitting 80% bets. He's the man, but just like everybody, bro, he gets caught up and the numbers adjust, and he starts over betting. But no, that's a great one. If you haven't seen Two for the Money,
Definitely gotta watch that for sure.
Yep.
All right, there's the end of our special guest hot seat segment. Let's go, man. Shout out Brandon for the dope answers, man. I like that Amari Cooper story, bro. That's actually a fire. That's a fire experience. Especially
bro,
for
I hadn't even
NFL
thought
player.
about that either. Like it happened probably 3-4 years ago. I haven't thought about it.
Was
that question?
Was he a Cowboy at the time, or was he still a Raider?
No, he was on the Browns at that time.
Oh, he's
I
a
remember I had
Brown.
him sign it. Yeah, I left him a Browns jersey. He signed it then.
That's fire.
Yeah, but he's a big boxing fan, so he would come into these like like Devin Haney fight or any type of big, like not big fights actually, like under the radar that were like good boxers, he was always down to come into Vegas for. So I had him a couple times at Caesars.
That's fire.
But yeah, man, class act. To usually people don't show love like that, and to be honest, most times athletes really don't show love like that. So for a Coop to do that, man, it was pretty special.
Yeah, no, Coop definitely seems like a genuine dude. That's actually a great story. That's a highlight right there. That's a clip, chat.
Yeah.
All right, W. Chat, that wraps up our special guest hot seat segment, man. That was a W segment. I like that. That was actually a pretty dope segment. That was a pretty dope segment. I like that. I like that. All right, going into our next one, man, we got our players of the week. Two players I want to touch on, and it's going to be NFL and NBA. These are players that we already looked at before stream after the week. We had two big games to go on this past weekend. Starting off with the Bills versus the Detroit Lions. I got to give my player of the week for NFL to Josh Allen. Josh Allen has been playing lights out. Definitely number one in voting and MVP in my opinion. He had 362 pass yards with 2 touchdowns, along with 68 rush yards and 2 touchdowns to go with that. And he defeated one of the hottest teams in the league right now, the Detroit Lions. B, how you feel about that? You got somebody else you want to highlight, or are you kind of right there with me?
It's heartbreaking, bro. I had him last, like I said, bro, and I'm gonna keep saying it because it just break. I had him last year, probably like somewhere in 7-1s and 10-1 ranges, and heavy enough to care about it. And I didn't put any on it this year, and there was opportunities, and I just love watching the dude ball. Like, it's just entertaining, man. He just plays like how the bully plays when we're in the backyard, you know, and he's just out there doing whatever he wants, whenever. And they're calling a great offensive scheme, and Joe Brady is definitely going to get a head coaching position here pretty soon because of how he's turned that just offensive scheme around since he's come in. But yeah, man, I love watching Josh Allen play, and he deserves this MVP, and I'm sure he's going to get a couple of them. And not to overshadow what Lamar and Saquon, you know, Saquon's been a little bit quieter since he kind of got thrown into that top tier, but Lamar's having a great season also. But I don't know, it just looks different the way Josh Allen is doing it, you know, playing. It's a man amongst boys, it looks like, you know. It reminds me of like Cam Newton's year when he did it, you know, and they went on to lose the Super Bowl against the Broncos. It was like, I remember kind of thinking like, oh, we're watching the LeBron James of the NFL kind of take form right here with Cam Newton. Like, this guy can really just impose his will at any level, you know.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, Josh Allen's kind of like, you know, and if he plays within that offensive scheme, they're gonna be tough, man. It's just, I wish they had a couple pieces of defense because this should be their year.
Yeah.
And I know Buffalo fans are like, we've had that so many opportunities, but like Allen's one of those dudes. Like, the Chiefs are not their kryptonite. If anything, the Chiefs don't want to see the Bills. They don't want any part of that. So, yeah, I think maybe Bills Super Bowl and Bills Josh Allen MVP.
I like that.
I mean, he did it 2 weeks in a row, bro. He won these guys' fantasies or got them into the playoffs in all types of fashions, like elite back-to-back scoring weeks.
Definitely, especially with the week before with the whole reception touchdown. He had a pass touchdown and a reception touchdown in the same play.
Crazy, bro.
That kind of just stamped it right there. Like, okay, do we want to talk about Josh Allen as MVP? And then he had this crazy week against the Lions. Dude, he had a 122.4 QBR. So that's...
How many passing yards does he have for this season? Can you pull that up real quick?
Yeah, let me see. Josh Allen this year has 3,395 pass yards, ranking 9th. So he's top 10 in pass yards.
Who's 10th and who's 8th?
Let me see. I'm trying to see how I could bring that up. NFL passing leaders.
He's probably somewhere around like Mahomes' yardage, I would assume.
Yeah,
basically,
for sure.
Mahomes and Jalen Hurts rolled into a guy, though. Like, that's how I look at him at this point. Like, this guy is just playing elite throwing and running.
Yeah, and you know, another thing too, and I know Trent, I know he has like his season-long interceptions for under 12 and a half. I mean, dude, you look at the season he had last year going over that by a mile, and then now he's only thrown 5 picks on the season.
But you gotta go, and that's to my point, bro. Like, go back to what point in the season did those interceptions take a huge drop off, if they did? And I might be way out of, but it was somewhere when they lost to the Broncos on a Thursday night, I want to say, that Joe Brady got that job, or maybe a couple weeks before that. It was right in there, so it wasn't at the beginning of the year. So that offense was kind of wonky and like the way it was for the first couple years that he was there until they brought him in as a play caller.
Yeah. It's like they're not making him throw these crazy like
No.
deep balls like every, you know what I mean? Like it was too
And only
constant.
when he does now, it's Keon Coleman. So he's
Yeah.
like got a gigantic cute. It's like, you know, throwing a rebound essentially up there. So otherwise, it's these crossers that are coming across, or it's him getting out of the pocket and just ripping off these runs,
Yep.
or extending these plays where these, you know, even guys like Curtis Samuel, like that are going to break free eventually after 3 seconds in the pocket, you know, or Khalil Shakir, you know, they had Colby, you know, like these different guys. It's like you can't cover these guys for that long when they're crossing across the field, backs and forth, back and forth. It's impossible. Nick
Yeah.
Cook's coming out of the backfield. He's doing a great job too. Who's the guy, the running back, the third string running back? They got
Ray
produced
Davis.
100 yards. Yeah, not even Ray. I think it was.
Ty Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ty Johnson had 100 yards the other day. So,
Yeah.
yeah, they're impossible right now offensively, but defensively, man, if they had just like an elite cornerback, I know Rasul Butler or Rasul Douglas is like their elite corner. He's probably not the greatest, but like, man, if they had like Milano, who's been out all year,
Yeah.
and maybe Carlos Hyde, who I think still hurt, and like just a couple more of these guys, like elite back end guys, just people, you know, that the playmakers on that side of the ball, I would feel really good about Buffalo. But you know, offensively, man, good luck. I don't know who could stop him. I don't know who.
And it's crazy too, like speaking about Josh Allen, like Khalil Shakir, the season he's having, he's actually the #1 receiver for Buffalo. 71
Free in your
receptions,
fantasy
774 yards. Like, dude, man, that
How many
was
times has he cashed in Prize Picks?
more times over than under. I'll tell you that.
Shout out to Khalil
man.
Shakir. First person that shares a line of Khalil Shakir. Actually, we'll take the top 3 again since we haven't done a giveaway in a while. If you play Khalil Shakir, you have a lineup with Khalil Shakir in it. Send it to Degen. Manza, somebody will take care of you.
Chat, I definitely gave y'all picks with Khalil Shakir in it
Oh,
too.
you've been giving picks out with this guy?
Not recently, maybe like a couple weeks ago before he got hurt, but he was definitely in the lineup for sure.
Take top 3.
His receptions.
Cap, but yeah.
Got you.
He's
Make sure you
been
DM
killing
it, chat. No, he's been going absolutely insane. He's been such a dog for receptions because he's their quick pass guy. If Josh Allen's kind of scrambling and he's looking for, like, you know, not the check down, but the first dude that's open, it's him majority of the time, unless he's going deep.
Looks so crazy come play out. Like, especially back to Amari Cooper, you know, full circle. But, like, if he gets involved come playoff time, then you got Keon Coleman healthy, Shakir's underneath, Cook out the backfield, Kincaid. Like, this offense is just disgusting.
Yeah. I definitely got my Super Bowl prediction. Honestly, is Eagles-Bills. I feel like that would be a great Super Bowl matchup.
Who you going, man? Who wins that? I'll take the Bills.
I got Bills for sure. That offense can definitely get some shit going, especially if they figure out Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
If they could get Amari Cooper going, because Amari Cooper is still an elite route runner, he can still make big plays. If they could just figure out how to get him more involved in this offense with Kincaid, with Shakir, with Keon Coleman as a deep threat. Then you got James Cook in the backfield with damn near a 3-headed running back monster set up in that backfield. It's a lot of weapons on that offense that you can't stop them all. Like, so I think they're gonna be the toughest offense to stop.
Who's the best defense in the AFC? That's where like I get concerned for anybody else. Is like usually you like feel really good about the Ravens having a defense. They haven't been like that this year.
No,
they're going through a transition. Their DC is now we're talking about the head coach of the Seahawks now. So I don't know if they figure it out and they get healthy. Their cornerbacks definitely aren't as elite as they normally are. So the Chiefs, their cornerbacks are not really good either right now. So I don't feel like great about, like, you would probably say Pittsburgh has the best defense, but then they're a little bit more limited on the other side of the ball. So
for sure,
maybe defense wins if Bills have to play Pittsburgh. It's not definitely a guaranteed win for them, but I feel like that would be their hardest matchup. But even though, Ravens stomped them out earlier this year too.
No, 100% they did. So I don't know, but I got Bills.
I take the Bills.
Essentially, like, if it's Bills versus Eagles, it could be that situation of like Broncos versus Seahawks back in the day, where you had a high-powered offense versus a high-powered defense, and ultimately that defensive team dominated that whole game.
You know what kills people, bro, is like playoff ball is just different. You see it with every different sport. NBA totals under, right? Like you saw it in the NBA Cup game. That game went so under, and it played dead under because you see just defense is such an intention. Because defense is a lot of times just effort, and it's just like how much are you really showing up for that. So
Yeah.
in playoffs, it's like Lamar tends to fold for whatever reason. I don't know if it's him. And fluky things do happen, like Zay Flowers fumbling on the 1 yard line that don't help him, but like his throws get errant. He gets really like his feet never look settled in the pocket. So, Josh Allen, he's just an assassin. He's like a Mahomes. He's just so in a battle like that in the playoffs, I think it look a whole lot different than a regular season matchup too.
No, yeah, facts. It's gonna be an eventful playoff
It's wide
season.
open.
Yeah,
Definitely wide open.
it's close. I mean, this is like one of the closer type of seasons, bro, for all the contending teams. Like even if you look at the playoff hunt, like it's super close. It's like one game, half game stretches like that could dictate the whole seeding.
It's gonna be hard too. Like I don't know how much you sports bet and take on teams and stuff, but it's like Mahomes, you're probably gonna get opportunities to get the Chiefs as an underdog again. It's how do you get out of that?
Yeah,
The dude is just like he never loses as an underdog. So
yeah.
how could you not? But like you don't feel good about them. I don't feel good about the Chiefs right now.
I'm like on the edge.
Do you think they three-peat?
I think they
Do you think
can.
they make it to the divisional round? Like how far do you think you have them going?
I mean, honestly, Chiefs are like the modern day Patriots. Like when you think you count them out, and it's the Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
they won. I
Coaching
didn't
and
think they had a chance last year to win the Super Bowl. I was like, there's no way. Who is he throwing to? Who are their weapons? Like how are they gonna win? And they figured it out. They got the win.
And you know what? This might be a great opportunity. Like I would love to see the Chiefs kind of go on a downward spiral here right before the playoffs, lose the next 3 games or whatever it's left in their schedule, and everybody be out on them, and then you get them at 10-1 at the start of the playoffs because they got to play opening weekend. Then I'm in on them.
Yeah.
Like, then they get healthy. Mahomes has had 3 weeks to get his ankle right, and then you got Andy, and then you again what we said, top coach, top quarterback.
Yeah.
Give me that every time, especially as an underdog.
For sure.
Give it to me every time.
For sure.
So I would love
see
that
how
to
that
play
went.
out. So and that could very easily happen. I don't know who they finish this season with. It might be the Broncos. I'm completely winging that, but I know they go Houston this week. We already said upset up potential. Pittsburgh on Christmas.
Yeah.
Definitely upset potential. And then if they close against the Broncos, maybe, which I could be wrong on that, but
it's in Denver.
It is in Denver. Okay,
Yeah.
so there we go. So like, say they sputter off these next 3 and you get them at 10 or 12-1 coming into the playoffs. Sign me up.
I could see it, especially with Mahomes being banged up. And what if he, I don't want to be the big bear of bad news, but what if you play him when you don't need to play him and it tweaks his ankle up even more? And now you're looking at okay, now Mahomes is really banged up to the point where he can't even play or he has to sit a week out. You know what I mean? Like now it comes down to that.
If they have to go into Buffalo and play a game, like they're gonna be 3-point underdogs. They've already lost that game.
For sure. So I like that. I mean, I can see that. I can see that. But it starts with Houston this week.
Allen for MVP.
Yeah, most definitely.
Super Bowl.
Player of the week, Josh Allen for NFL. For sure. Player of the year, MVP. Like it's hands down. It's Josh Allen's year, especially compared to last season. He's definitely on the bounce back. Looking like a top 3 quarterback, probably the number 1 quarterback. I mean, you can't really dethrone Mahomes from number 1 until you start winning some games, like Super Bowls and championships. So, for sure, top 3, not 3, probably 2.
That's the problem, though, with Buffalo, though, before you just skim over it. It's like Sean McDermott does some stupid shit during games.
Decision making.
So that's
for sure.
always, like when you're in a tight game against a guy like Andy, there's no room for that. It's always like, the Chiefs will tell you they're 1 offside penalty from beating the Patriots that year that they didn't go to the Super Bowl, because it's 1 mistake. And like, he's made that against the Texans. He did something so stupid. Like they were thrown out of the end of their end zone. They basically surrendered the game at that point. Josh Allen had a concussion in the middle of that game also. And he's got him slinging it from the back of his end zone. Like they're down 6 instead of I think it was a tie game. I want to say they could have took it to OT essentially.
Yeah.
He did something a couple weeks ago too that I can't think of off the top of my head, but like McDermott doesn't make me feel good about that. That's the only thing in it,
I agree. Definitely Josh Allen, player of the week, MVP front runner in my opinion. Got to give it to him, bro. He's been going crazy. For NBA, I think it's pretty obvious who it is. I mean, can you guess who it is? Do you have an idea of who it might be?
Right now, NBA.
Yeah,
Giannis,
but yeah, easily.
right?
Yeah,
I mean, isn't he just having all-time numbers right now?
for sure, bro. Uh, season cup just ended.
Yep.
Bucks ended up pulling through, beating the Thunder, which I seen coming. And I've been telling chat and I've been telling people, in the Discord, like, yo, the best team in the league right now, when healthy, it's the Bucks.
They
100%.
did it without Middleton.
Yeah, without Middleton, exactly. Imagine if you put Middleton into that factor. Now you got a totally different team. A lot of, different ways to score. You got Giannis on the inside, Dame on the outside, Middleton who could do inside, outside, and mid-range. Brook Lopez has been playing consistent. Like, it's a lot of different ways to score on that offense. Defensively, it's crazy. Like, inside the paint, you can't do anything against the Bucks. But just to tell you where Giannis is playing on what kind of level, dude had 26 points, 19 rebounds, 10 assists with 3 blocks and 2 steals.
Crazy.
Insane numbers. 19 rebounds, 10 assists. Bro had 29 RA. Like, that's crazy.
Playoff time, bro. I love that the Bucks, like, that's the best team to get an easy 2 when you need a bucket, and like playoff ball is tougher to make threes, and the rims are tighter, and the defense is way more locked in. It's like Giannis is the best candidate to get an easy 2 or get to the line.
Yep.
And I always lean towards that, just in any tight defensive type of game,
Yeah.
The Buck and the East is always softer right now than the West, and
It's always been like that.
It should be them versus Boston, but what do you think of that? I mean, are they good enough to beat Boston? Porzingis,
The thing about Boston is, like, can you stop the high percentage scoring? Can you slow down Tatum? And if you slow down Tatum, can you slow down the other 3 scorers like Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, Derek White? Because any one of those guys can pop off for 30 points. Porzingis could go for 30. White could go for 30. Jaylen Brown could go for 30. Tatum could go for 30. Like,
all those guys are probably above 35% 3-point shooters too. That's the problem with Boston. Like, they're starting 5 if they have it out there, and then the next guy, the 6th and the 7th guy they roll out are probably 38, 40% 3-point shooters too.
Yeah.
With Pritchard and whoever the 7th guy is off of their bench, I haven't been.
Yeah,
really
Pritchard and Hauser have definitely been playing.
Hauser, yeah.
Phenomenal from the 3-point line. Pritchard's been playing insane this season.
Yeah,
for sure.
So it's like, that's for Boston. It's like, especially at the Garden, where they get rolling like a snowball, and it's just like this huge, monument effect basically that you can't stop. It's like it's a tie game, then they hit one, they get steal, leak out, and they hit another one. It's like then Porzingis pulls up one from 30 something. And it's like you're down 9 all of a sudden, and it's like the wheels come off quick with Boston, when they're banging those threes. So
100%.
And the fact they can do it from 7 different positions, essentially, their seventh guy all the way through can hit you from there. It's tough, man.
Yeah, the fact that Horford and Porzingis can knock threes down is already scary.
Horford, how long has this guy been in the league for?
I want to say 17,
20?
Maybe might be 19 this year.
He's like in LeBron's draft class, I want to say, no?
Hold on, let me see. How many years has Horford been in the league? I know he's close to 20. Let me see.
I think I bet Al Horford as national championship winner when he was a Florida Gator back in 2004. So for whatever that's worth.
He was drafted in 2007. So he was the third overall pick in the 2007 draft. So that is some years. What pick? The third overall pick in the 2007 draft.
Gotcha.
That is crazy. Oh my God. He's played 1,097 games.
Shout out Al Horford, man. What a career.
For sure.
Is he a Hall of Famer, first ballot?
Is he? I don't know.
Just based off numbers? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give it to, I think a Hall of Fame player, not only does it go off of numbers, but for me, it's consistency and longevity. Longevity is there.
Think about that one? They got him as a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Chad, do we think Al Horford is a Hall of Famer? He's got the ring.
Chad, does anybody have an Al Horford prize pick slip? Has Al Horford been playing, or has he been out?
No, he's been playing.
Did he play tonight?
I think he did. Hold on, I'll tell you his stats.
I'm locked in the NBA right now.
Oh yeah, he
Did he
played.
break or not? Did he
Uh,
go over?
No. 2 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists.
If you bricked on Al Horford, we'll take a couple bricks. Got a little love for you guys. Shout out Al Horford.
I wouldn't trust Horford with $1.
How many podcasts are out here supporting Al Horford fan?
Nah, literally. I don't think if you took Horford over for anything that it hit. Maybe not even turnovers. He had 0 turnovers, 2 points, 2 blocks. Maybe
if you
blocks.
took the under 2, we'll accept it. I'd like to see that somebody's fading him also. I'm here for both. I just want to see if you're playing Horford's.
His last 2 games, he's combined for 4 points. So,
is he getting minutes or no?
22 and 20, which is expected. It's expected. Porzingis has been back. He's healthy, playing out of his mind. Yeah. But honestly, I would put Horford in the Hall of Fame. Consistency, longevity, and just overall production. Like, I mean, you could trust on him. He's a veteran that has experience.
I would have to look at this power forwards that haven't gotten in. To go from there. Like, I don't really know the lineup of Hall of Famer power forwards. To be honest, but I'm sure there's some snubs over Al Horford. To be honest.
Oh, for sure. If not first ballot, I for sure see him getting in eventually.
Yeah, interesting though.
Yeah. Especially with the ring. The ring means everything, apparently.
Yeah. He's had some big roles, man.
Especially with the Hawks.
Yeah.
Especially with the Hawks. He was a super dominant. How many All-Stars does he have?
If I had to guess, 2.5 would be my over/under. How many years he's played? 17 years? 18 years?
Yeah. 2, 3.
Nah, because he has some good years. Maybe 3.5.
14, 15, 16, 17. He's played 18 seasons.
How many All-Stars?
Let's see.
This should be telling, actually. So if he's got like 5, then I think he gets in.
Wow, exactly 5. He has been selected for the NBA All-Star team 5 times. 2010, 11, 15, 16, and 18.
Yeah. I guess I give it to him. I said,
yeah,
he's got 5.
He's got 5.
He's got my vote. Not that I have one, but if I ever do, I'll owe it to you.
You know, it's crazy. He played with Boston from 2016 to 2019. Then he went to Philly and OKC the next 2 years, and then came back to Boston.
Those years.
I don't remember that either. I do not remember that. That's kind of crazy. He played 3 seasons with Boston prior to the run he's on with them right now. That's kind of crazy.
He's been such a important but unspoken piece to their I've faded Boston a lot too, and man, that guy has killed me on those corner threes so many times.
Dude, I'm telling you. That the 3-point, just the 3-point shooting we're seeing
from
Boston.
Crucial blocks at perfect timing, crucial moments down the stretch. He's a player.
Yeah.
He's definitely a winner.
100%. I like Horford, man. He's a good big man that's reliable.
You're right. He's tough. He can't, he gets boards. I like him too.
He could do it all. He could play defense. He could shoot. He could rebound. He could facilitate. And for a big man, that's a lot to ask for. You don't get a lot of big men that could do all 3.
And he can play D. If he gets stuck out up top, somebody switched or something. He's capable out there.
Yeah, it's a little bit different now because he's older, but he can still cause some kind of disruption.
Definitely.
I like that. Yeah, blocking a crucial moment, which I think we've seen it happen. We saw it happen last season, I believe, for the championship run. A game-winning block. I don't know if that was last year.
Shout out Al Horford. We're here for you, bro.
We support you, man. But yeah, that was our segment. That was our Player of the Week segment with Josh Allen for NFL and Giannis Antetokounmpo for NBA. We ended up highlighting Al Horford just a little bit more, but Ed, you got to pay respect to your veterans, man, at the end of the day.
Hey, man.
I'm sick of the LeBron hate, man. I'm sick of it. Who you got? Who you got, man? LeBron or Jordan?
Bro, I don't know.
You ain't got to get into detail. Just give me the answer. I just want to see how chat reacts.
Here's my thing with LeBron. I think talent-wise, man, it's, and then also longevity too at that high level, unprecedented, never to be messed with. In that caliber, at how long he's done it for too. But for me, like if I'm taking somebody, like I don't know, like just for people that I enjoy rooting for, it's like it's the killers, it's the assassins, it's the people that you can't break, and the people that are just, you know, they're wired just differently. And I feel like for LeBron, he's what, like 6'7", 6'8", 260, 2% body fat, right? Like the amount of times this guy ends up on the floor is way too many times for me.
Yeah.
Like he should be imposed. Like I can't imagine if Jordan or Kobe's my guy. Like I take Kobe, so obviously I'm gonna fall on the Jordan side
Mhm.
of the tracks when you ask me this question. But it's like the amount of force I feel like they would have imposed on their opponent being that size and made them punished and never let them see them roll around and tantrums and like all that all the antics that he does, it ruins it for me.
I
And
feel
that's
it.
it. But like as from a talent aspect and for a career aspect, like bro, it's not to be fucked with. Like I mean,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. The guy's got rings up and down. He's hit big clutch shots. He's done it all, man. And for as long as anybody, and he's still doing it at a high level. It's insane, bro. So I'm not gonna hate on him from a talent and production, but from a like a, do you like you keep company that you like for a certain reason, right? You vibe with certain people, you don't with the other, and that's just my take on it. It's like, man, this guy should be like Garrett Blunt out there with the basketball, like just
Literally
so that's how I look at it.
going crazy. And you know it's
Yeah,
crazy. He turns 40 in 10 days. His birthday's actually on the 30th.
it's
So
insane.
so
It's
I
insane.
mean, for LeBron to be averaging 22 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists at 40 years old in the NBA right now,
Can't take nothing from it, bro.
like what was Jordan doing at 40? Respectfully, like it's night and day compared to what LeBron's doing.
Yep.
And yeah, I feel that as well with consistency and longevity. I feel like that makes up a lot for like the GOAT talks, like who was elite for the longest. You know what I mean? Then you could go down to rings, you could go down to all-star appearances and championships, but really
Yeah.
it's like if you're doing it for a long time consistent, like have we really seen a down year from LeBron?
No, not really. I mean, no, not that I could think of, really, bro. And like, I think the GOAT thing though, it's like people get caught up in like who they vibe with. Jordan just was he's way cooler than LeBron, essentially, like the brand and just like his image and just his swag was just way like, so that's what get caught up in and then the Bulls too, like they were just, LeBron's kind of bounced around. He's in this new age NBA that's just played differently. Like the NBA was just what thought of differently, and they were like rock stars and Beatles essentially. Like it's just not even so people factor all of that into like who's the greatest of all time, essentially. Not like if you just took two Excel spreadsheets and you put both dudes' numbers up on a grid and looked at them and just compared the two, you'd be like, I'd probably take this if I was going to build an organization blindly and I could have one player A or player B. It's like I'll probably take player B, and it'd be LeBron not even knowing it, but just from a production and longevity, yeah, you got to take it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that all plays a factor. I feel like a lot of people are gonna lean Jordan just because of like, and I've heard this argument come up a lot when you talk about Jordan and LeBron. Like, if you take away the whole Jordan brand within itself, like the shoes and the popularity of that, like, you just break it down to pure just player and how they play and the statistics. It's like, who do you got as the better player? Like, it's got to be LeBron. You know what I mean? Because we're going statistics now. We're just going off a true player, like playership and how they changed the game. Like, you got to give it to him.
But who am I taking? I'm still taking. I would take the lesser of the two. Then still take Jordan.
Makes sense.
Like just from like what he's gonna die out there.
Yeah, Jordan mentality is definitely.
LeBron might do a Paul Pierce stint, start doing some cramps or something, get carried off or some shit like that. I don't like all that.
I feel you. It, like I said, every player's got their flaws and stuff like that. So
For sure.
it is what it is.
From a standpoint of putting that orange ball into the cylinder, LeBron, yeah, man. I mean,
For sure.
He's probably the best to ever do it.
For sure, LeBron's definitely top five.
Yeah.
Top five greatest scorers of all time, and I would put him, KD, Kobe, for sure. Top three in that scoring category with Kareem. You got to put Kareem in there as well.
No, you just gonna throw KD in? That's crazy.
KD is a really great scorer. He could score the rock on all three levels.
Just as a scorer, I don't know. You give hit to him over Curry.
Yeah, honestly, if I had to pick between two players to take a game-winning shot between Curry and KD, I gotta go with KD, bro.
I'm taking Curry. I'm taking Curry as the best shooter.
You know, no, for sure. Curry is the best 3-point shooter to ever touch the court. He's got that for sure. But if we're talking clutch moments, coming down to like scoring the last bucket on any one of the levels on the floor, you got to go with KD. You have to.
I mean, just from a size standpoint, I guess you could make that argument, but I don't know.
I've seen Curry smoke, and I'm talking like absolutely smoke some crazy clutch shots. I remember last year, it was against the Spurs. He went in for the layup, smoked it.
Yeah, well,
for
KD
the win.
also would have been in the finals. His big ass foot wasn't on the line against the Milwaukee Bucks a couple.
Yeah,
So
it's
you
it's
factor
crazy.
in that size, it could hurt you because that was a clutch shot too, but it didn't even matter at that point.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, but for sure, I like these debates, man, because it gets the chat going. People over here talking about Andre Iguodala now, like.
Oh, of course, Iggy always gets love somehow in a chat. No matter.
I know, right?
He's always the first random guy to get thrown into a chat.
They're like Iguodala. All right, man. Let's get into. We got 2 more segments to go, man. This one, chat. This is a little bit more
quick,
for y'all.
For a free lineup, chat. Whoever, I'll let Ant pick it, Ant read them off as they put them. Give me the best random wide receiver that has produced on your fantasy roster, but just random. And so I'll lead it off with Alec. Is it Alec Ogletree or Patrick Ogletree? I can't even remember now. I think for the Cowboys, that's who I was getting. I'll go with the D.D. Westbrook. D.D. Westbrook's another good example, right? So he's played for the Jags out of OU. But if he had production or hype, Cordell Patterson, somebody like that, give me the best one of those for a line. We'll pick a couple winners on that. But I was having this debate on social media about it the other day. These are just entertaining.
From any season or this season?
Yeah, I mean relevant, I guess, with last. So we know him, I guess.
Yeah. Someone said Ray McLeod, DeMarcus Robinson.
Better than that. Better than those guys. Those guys have actually had consistent production for a couple weeks now.
Danny Amendola.
Amendola's.
He's been consistent.
A little too good, but yeah, Amendola's pretty solid.
What about Romeo Dobbs?
Nah, like a Tavon Austin.
Like a out of nowhere.
Yeah, even I would take like an Austin Collie.
Chad, give us a surprise breakout fantasy player. Miles Austin? Nah, Miles Austin was
Miles Austin was a 1 for a little bit even.
Yeah. Josh Palmer?
Yeah, it's all right.
Derrick Henry. No, that's a wide receiver, first of all. We need wide receiver. Marvin Mims.
Marvin Mims is a good one.
Okay, for the Denver Broncos. Jawan Jennings.
I don't know if when did he have production?
Tim Patrick's
a good one. I'll take that one. Jawan Jennings has been good all year though.
Yeah. So we got Marvin Mims, Tim Patrick, Xavier Legette.
Nah, too much hype as a rookie.
Keon Coleman.
Randy's. No first round capital spent. These guys that just.
De'Ami Brown. I don't know if he's been playing good.
I think he popped off a little bit there. We'll take De'Ami Brown. Unless you see something better. I'm okay taking that one.
Oh, Jalen Coker.
I like Jalen Coker.
Yeah, that's actually a good one.
I like Jalen Coker. I was playing. I actually started him in a fantasy. Doing all right.
Someone said Calvin Austin.
Let's look at Jalen Coker.
No, Jalen Coker. No, his numbers last week were insane.
Well, he caught the long touchdown, yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. Let's look at his numbers. Yeah, he had 4 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown. The week before, he had 3 catches, 41 yards. He's been getting a lot of last 2 weeks. He's been getting a lot of targets.
He was hurt for a couple weeks there, so
yeah.
But yeah, no, he's kind of taken that Deontay Johnson role.
Yeah.
He's a rookie, I want to say too, but no, I I like had him in a fantasy league. I was kind of stashing him until the injury, and then like bye weeks and everything made you kind of get rid of some of these guys. But um, let's see, chat. Is there a Jalen Coker line on Prize Picks right now? Chad, if you play Jalen Coker, I would say go ahead and tag Degen Entertainment. We're gonna have a couple winners if we have a prop on him. I'm not seeing one right now though.
All I see is just a touchdown prop.
Yeah.
Oh, Rico Dowdle. He's been a crazy like progressive running back in the last like 5 to 6 weeks.
Yeah. He seems like he's not like that great of a talent, but like
he's a sleeper.
I don't know, he's doing the most with it, that's for sure, I guess. But
For sure.
I wish he had like second level elusiveness, I guess, to make some of these 15-yard runs like crib potential or 50-yard runs. But I feel like he's kind of capped once he gets to the second level with like elusivity and stuff like that.
Do you
Basically
think
up north and south?
Do you think Dallas drafts a running back with their first round pick, or do you think he go offensive line?
They're gonna have, assuming like a top 10 pick. I don't know. I think you have to consider quarterback at some point too, unless like Cooper Rush, you're gonna go with that. But I think starts considering that. But I would go probably guaranteed O lineman.
It makes sense, especially with the injury that happened to Zach Martin.
Yeah, I think they'll probably go that route, but they got so much shit to worry about. They haven't had an elite safety in so long. Darren Woodson, Roy Williams, early 2000s.
It just goes back to what we said earlier. Like, there's so many holes to fill on that roster. It's like, where do you start?
I don't know. I'm still heartbroken when they didn't draft. They had opportunity. I don't know if they. I want to say to draft Derwin James. They took Leighton Vander Esch, who was good for a couple years, but had so many injuries. But like, you still see Derwin James. He's like still one of the best players on the field every night.
For sure. That's tough. Could have drafted TJ Watt as well. No.
I mean, like, yeah, there's always like all that, but like, just like, I feel like I'm big on the back end safety being elite. Like, I was a huge like Earl Thomas. I loved him at his prime, and Cam Chancellor, Bob Sanders for the Colts when they won the Super Bowl. Like, even though he was hurt, I think, but like just Eric Berry for the Chiefs when they were kind of getting it started, heading in the right direction. Palomalo, all these. I love those type of back end guys that can just make. Back from the Ed Reed, I guess, kind of started that just game-changing type plays. And now, like, if I could have anybody, probably be like Marlon Humphrey, who can come down to the line, rush the passer, come down, tackle the running back, guard your best receiver, guard your best tight end, and then also make ball hawking plays also out there. It's like that's a guy that I feel like makes a difference on the defense. That's a guy I want to spend a bunch of money on or try to find in the draft somebody that fits that pedigree.
I think the fan favorite, if I'm not mistaken, is Ashton Genty to Dallas.
Yeah, I could see it. But it doesn't do anything for Dallas, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, if you have a banged up O-line,
Well, like running backs, you got like 5 years of like you're supposed to get really good production out of them before they start tailing off, so you get 5 years of it. So are you going to be in a shape with Ashton that you're going to need to be good at the running game and like that you're going to like be in competition? So if he's like that piece, then maybe, but they got so many other things to fix before he can be productive back there. But maybe he can make up for some of the O-line.
Yeah, I feel it. That's going to be crazy. I'm excited for this draft, especially being a Raiders fan. Bro, we're sitting at the number 1 pick. So
what do you think?
Shador. Yeah. I've been preaching this for like the last 3 weeks. Like, the Raiders need to go pull a Texans and draft Shador, trade up and get Travis, and just pair them together. Go all in for the duo. It sounds like a fairy tale and a pipe dream, but if it's possible, why not? You fill 2 needs, quarterback and a number 1 receiver.
How do you acquire the 4th overall pick?
It's crazy. We've actually established some draft capital throughout the last 2 seasons. When Tom Telesco came in, he did trade away some players to get more draft capital. So, maybe throw in, obviously you're going to have to throw in 2 to 3 first rounders. We do have a couple second rounders, maybe like an extra third rounder we could throw in as well. And if we have to trade like a piece, I don't know what the player would be. I wouldn't expect it to be anything crazy, but I don't know. You'd have to give up an arm and a leg pretty much. And the only team I could see willing to trade out of the spot is the Patriots because they already have their quarterback.
Yeah, and they're known to trade back.
Yeah, 100%.
I could definitely see that. Yeah, for the Giants fans, I guess that the rumor comes from I gotta consider the source somewhat legitimate. It's that dude from the U that was that booster back in the day that they did all 30 for 30 on. I can't think of his name. Not Nelly. What's his name? Liam or something. It's a white dude though. Like he was a big booster, but I think he ended up doing time for all this shit, that shenanigans and shit that happened at the U. But I can't think of his name. But anyways, he's got a social media account going, and he's like, from good sources that Cam Ward is supposed to go to the Giants to be drafted by him. I don't know what those odds are still available out there, but
Yeah.
for whatever it's worth, that's pretty good. And he's, I would say, pretty well in the know down there, I would assume. So
I can see it.
And Ward's already kind of like acknowledged that that's out there, and like sounds like he's down to go try to turn that organization around as well. So I think these guys too, like they love to solidify themselves potentially as a top 5 draft pick because obviously it's a huge check. So it's like outside of Shador, these other guys want to definitely latch on to any organization that would take him time because he hates to start slipping.
Yeah.
A year ago, Cam Ward wasn't projected to be in the first round.
No, not at all.
Probably a 3rd round at best.
Yeah, this season has been insane for him.
Yeah, but I like Cam Ward. I mean, he can definitely make some crazy throws. I like his arm.
Yeah. And you look at the situation, like, if you put Cam Ward on that Giants offense, they don't have a bad offense. I mean, you got Malik Neighbors. Theo Johnson is another rookie tight end that's actually been playing pretty well when he gets the rock. You have a really good running back duo with Singleton, and then you got Tyrone Tracy, who's having a breakout season. They're young. They're young on offense, and I think you put a quarterback in there that's elite, it'll definitely solve a lot of your problems because that defense isn't bad at all. The defense is
they
decent.
actually held up better than they should. Like
Yeah.
a lot of times when they're put in such bad situations.
No,
because
for
Daniel
sure.
Jones and being on the field way too much. But yeah, Dexter Lawrence in there could have been defensive player of the year at some point this year. Like I mean, he was playing at such a high level at one point, but
Yeah.
and their secondary, like Giants just traditionally like they play that type of style of football, like regardless of the turnover. Almost it's like same with Steelers. Like kind of to what like you're gonna get a tough defense situation usually out of that team just because of how maybe it's management. I don't know what it is, right? But just it's certain consistencies with teams usually tend to stick around. And yeah, man, like you said, bro, it's like they've just been so committed to this Daniel Jones experiment that they've kind of wasted this opportunity they had with some of these guys. But
Yeah, big time.
you might see another Jaden Daniels situation. You bring Cam Ward in there and starts heading in the whole direction quickly.
For sure. I mean, they have they don't have a lot of holes to fill on that team. It's really just the quarterback issue. Maybe another offensive lineman, maybe somebody else in the secondary to help out the secondary. But other than that, like, they have the main positions covered up. They have a really good front seven. They have a really good receiving core. The running back, I mean, besides Tracy and his fumbling issues, that can get fixed in the offseason. He's a high production type of running back. He can catch, he could run, he could block. Like, it just seems like a good situation for either Cam Ward or even Shador to go into. I think it's a successful type of project, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Shador's made it known he doesn't want to go there.
Yeah, no, Shador is a Raider. I think it's already signed, sealed, and delivered. Like, and Dion even said like they will pull a Eli Manning, if the Raiders. Let's say the Raiders beat the Jags this week, and they move up to like the 2nd pick, 3rd pick. You're gonna have teams like the Giants that are gonna pass on Shador and go take Cam Ward and settle for him, just off the fact like why are you gonna draft the player that doesn't want to be there? Essentially,
Yeah, and all these guys, man, they're all these GMs, that have their jobs turn over all the time. These head coaches, this is their future, right? Like it's all predicated on drafting the right quarterback. Otherwise, you're going to get fired because if you're not winning games and getting to the playoffs with a quarterback that's capable, and that's what it takes. It's coaching and quarterback. How many times can we say it, right? If you don't draft that right guy, then you're gone.
Yeah, 100%.
Look at the Raiders, man. If they would have drafted Penix maybe this year and started him instead of this, maybe Pierce is going to have a job still, but he's going to lose his job at the end of the year for sure.
For sure.
So, yeah, man, I think so much hinges on finding that guy, but it's usually not even the guys that you they end up being the ones. You know, it's these guys that you end up finding a little bit later.
I think the Raiders should go get Mike Vrabel, the former Titans coach.
If they can, yeah.
Yeah.
Vrabel's by far the best acquisition. Now that Bill Belichick's off the market, Vrabel's,
Yeah.
he's such a great coach.
He's the next
one of
best
those guys-
option.
He's, if not, honestly, I think the best option in the NFL sometimes. Like
Yeah.
up to like other than Andy Reid, so like Vrabel is so game savvy and smart. And
Yeah.
just understands football, and like the guy is so smart. Like he'll know when to take a penalty that it's going to run off the clock to ensure that when you take all 3 timeouts that you haven't used any of yet, that you're not going to have enough time because he did that runoff. Like that type of little micromanaging stuff like that, the little things that win games, and then schematics and just getting his defenses dialed in. Like, I mean, what he did with those Titans teams with the lack of a quarterback and B, a ton of talent
Yeah.
was so impressive. Upsetting Lamar that year that they did, they were huge underdogs.
That's the one
and
highlight I think of every time. It's like when they
Yeah.
beat the Ravens in the first round. Like that was
No
insane to me.
business winning that game. No winning.
not at
No
all.
business winning from a talent aspect, right? But and coaching is pretty even there. Harbaugh's a great coach, but like what he was able to do schematically against Lamar and manage a game to favor his team, run the ball heavy, and stay committed to that. He doesn't get caught up like in the emotions of the game. He's my favorite coach.
Yeah. I think he'll be a great pickup for the Raiders. Especially he's a really good defensive minded coach as well. And that's something you always want to have. Like I think a defensive minded head coach are always like not the better ones to roll with, but if you get a really good offensive coordinator that knows what they're doing, then
Yeah.
by all means, like I think the current coordinator for the Raiders is Scott Turner, which is Norv Turner's son. He's actually been doing a really good job with the play call. Obviously, it's hard to execute certain plays when you
I
have
don't think
3
you can evaluate.
quarterbacks in 3 different weeks and stuff like that. But I would still
Yeah.
give him a shot and extend him, and then
Yeah,
bring in
and these
Vrabel.
guys that come from those type of pedigree. I mean, same with Kubiak's son. What the Saints were doing early in the year when they were helping
Yeah,
Taste, all those guys. Like, so I'm all for giving those guys definitely opportunity. They know better than most, obviously, what it takes. But yeah, I think you can't assess off of what they had going. I mean, it's insane that it's 2024 and that we're feeling comfortable with you as our starting quarterback going into the year, right? Like,
it's crazy.
and you're in my town, right? Like, I'm in Vegas, and this is the best show in town. Like, everything's supposed to be top entertainment, right? Like,
Yeah,
so it's supposed to be either Rodgers is here, or you drafted Penix, or you went and got Brady, or like that's what it takes in Vegas to perform at our level, like our expectation just as a community here, basically. So the fact that they did that was extremely surprising, but I definitely think the pendulum swings back the other way and they make as much splashes that it takes to get back to,
yeah.
As Al Davis would say, it's like win, just win, baby.
No, for real. I mean, we got Brady just a year too late.
Yep, exactly.
Literally a year
that
too
was-
late.
That's it, man, and that's what I think the Cowboys need. Anything other than Jerry Jones and Steven Jones's heads in there, they need somebody that understands the game now, the current game, what it takes to win, and has relationships to draw talent and acquire talent. Right, like it's all these names. Dion's doing the same thing in Colorado. They're using these. Mike Vick's getting coaching job. Right, these guys are able to acquire talent, and now with transfer portals being the way they are in college and NFL being able, these players have way more leverage. Just like the NBA, they want to move, they get moved. And so. Brady's going to bring in that type of just same way Belichick's going to do it at UNC. It's just going to attract a whole different level of talent and players there.
Agreed. I agree with that. It's a lot to look forward to for the season and for especially the off season. I feel like the off season will be huge. So I'm definitely excited, especially as a Raider fan. Like it's a lot to look forward to in a sense of like, a new quarterback coming to town and hopefully Vegas can turn it around. That's the plan. But it is what it is. We just have to wait and see. It kind of sucks that you waited this whole offseason for the result to come down to this. And it's like, okay, we got to wait all over again.
We're both in bad situations. Like Dallas's division and the Raiders division. It's like they're
Tough.
both – we're at the bottom right now.
Yeah,
and
literally.
they're all looking pretty good for the next 5 years at least.
Yeah.
Not that the Giants are in a great place, but like we said, they're going to reload on a quarterback.
Yep.
They've shown they've been willing to spend on the free agency, like as recent as Kenny Galladay giving him a max contract as a receiver, which I don't know if he ever even saw the field, but
I forgot about
I
that.
think Dallas is just like the only difference that they are versus the Giants, like they have Dak, but I don't know.
I agree.
Dak's all right if you protect him. Kirk Cousins, right?
Yeah.
Back to actually Amari Cooper, and I don't know this as a fact or anything, but I did hear the reason they traded Amari Cooper was because after that playoff loss against the Niners a couple years ago, he called him the Black Kirk Cousins, and they traded him.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Uh-huh.
No, that's kind of
They
crazy.
sent him to Cleveland.
Of course, they send him to Cleveland out of all teams.
Exactly,
huh?
bro. Exactly.
That's funny. All right. Well, that's actually kind of crazy to hear. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right, man. Chat. We're gonna get into one of our last segments, man. This is gonna be our Twitter Q&A. As you guys can see here on my screen, all you gotta do is tweet at us at Degen TV on Twitter. Ask us a question. We're gonna pick a couple of your guys' questions to ask live on stream right now. So as you can see the example right here, is Patrick Mahomes still the top quarterback in the league this season? Make sure you hashtag DgenENT, so that way we can see the questions. We're gonna pick our favorite 2 to 3 questions, and we're gonna answer them. And then
These 3 get a Givvy. Yeah.
Yep. 40,000 likes on the live stream, so that means we got y'all with those. So, we're just doing our due diligence. So, y'all know what it is. Twitter Q&A, hashtag DgenENT. Make sure you guys also follow the Twitter page. Is here at the bottom. DgenENT TV. Make sure you guys get that right.
Let's take one recent one as well after you pick the. I'm sure you got your ones already picked, but we'll take one recent one in case any
Got
out
you.
there now. So if we pick that one, you'll be included in the Givvy as well.
All right, let's do it. Let me see. All right. Let me see.
What do we got?
Let me see. Chat, let me know. Wait a minute. Chat, let me know when you guys send those in and I'll check them out. I'll be refreshing. Let's see. I know somebody asked something last week. What do we got to do? You guys got to go to Twitter, hashtag DgenENT, drop a question, and we'll answer it live on stream. We're picking 3 of you guys to answer your guys' questions for a Givvy. It doesn't matter who it is. Just go ahead and drop in the question, and we got y'all. Somebody asked last week. They said, do you think the Cavs could win it all this year?
They're superstar light, so at the end of the day, I feel like you need another punch to Donovan, even though they got a bunch of guys that are ascending, and Sexton can play sometimes as an A, but playoff time, I still think that they're a piece away, a superstar piece away.
What position do you think? Like a guard, a center, a forward?
Man. I mean, something to offset Mitchell's skill set a little bit, I would think so, maybe. And you got, Mobley down there. And what do they got? Who's at the rim? I can't think of Afro.
Jared Allen.
Yeah, Jared Allen's at the rim. So it's somewhere, I guess, that would probably play like in the 3 position would ideally, or an elite point, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a huge Colin Sexton. Is it Colin Sexton that's running point for them?
For the Cavs?
Yeah.
No. It's Darius Garland.
Or Garland, not Sexton. Yeah. So Garland, like, yeah, I don't know. Like, so who's their 3 then?
So it goes Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell. The
Evan
3
Mobley down low.
It's Mobley and Jared Allen. The 3 is Isaac Okoro. So he's like a younger player.
Yeah. No, I know Okoro. So like, I think there, right? You could definitely like. Somebody that comes to mind that like I'm not a big fan of right now, but like Paul George was in that spot, or somebody like in that caliber, part of SGA is in that spot, or somebody like that, that changes the Cavs.
Yeah.
Because think about it, you got like Tatum and Brown just to start off the Celtics. You just got to start there, and then you got Porzingis, which is like it's like you're gonna be needing some firepower from that 3 that Okoro I don't know can give you.
Fire. Okay. First question from Bugs at EUB. I don't even know. I don't know how to say your at. I'm just saying at Bugs. But this is what he said. What do the Patriots focus on next offseason first? Offensive weapons or rebuilding the O-line, and why?
I would love to see Drake May get a solid offensive line, and then I think you can acquire skill positions a little bit later or free agents. But through the draft, I would love them to get like because Drake May's been balling since, or he was balling at UNC, and it was the same situation there though. It's like every other play he's running for his life, and he's just got no protection. So when he has time, and he's an elite runner, like he's about to break Mike Vick's yard per carry stat, like which is insane. You would never think of those two in the same breath, but
Yeah.
yeah, I would love to see May get both. But I think through the draft, I think you go O line and can probably pick up somebody a little bit later and then do a free agent acquisition. You know, they're a wide receiver one and maybe a nice little slot guy away.
Yeah. 100%. I think Ramondre is the clear cut answer for running back for right now.
Yeah.
I think he's not having that high of a production because of the O line. So I would say offensive line first. Definitely utilize free agency to go get a star receiver. If not, this draft class is just so deep in literally all three major positions: quarterback, running back, and receiver. Like, I don't see why you could go get a really good receiver in the second round, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
So
100%.
it just makes sense. You gotta protect your star player, which is essentially Drake May. So,
But then like next year, if they were like in a decent draft, they could go not Genchi, but like somebody like that. Then you just you're built everywhere. You got your quarterback for the next decade. You got your O line that should be next 8 to 10 years. Defensively, you're going to be sound because the system is in house essentially of how you kind of operate. That's been shown with Belichick kind of leaving. They were still pretty solid. Christian Gonzalez is an elite quarterback that should be shutting down people on that side. So they have some good pieces there. But yeah, Patriots aren't in a bad spot here in the next couple of years if they do right by Drake May.
yeah, no, 100%. I agree with that though. Definitely O line first, then go get your weapons. Because what are good weapons gonna do if your quarterback doesn't have any time in the pocket?
Exactly. And now it's so easy too. You can go get a disgruntled guy mid-season or late in the season or before Brian and Ayuk the season starts. You know, these guys are AJ Brown's pissed off. George Pickens was pissed off 6 weeks ago. Like you can go get these guys for the low. You know, like all the time.
Yeah.
You know, Amari Cooper makes a bad statement, gets traded to Cleveland. Like, right? We just had that example. It's like you can go acquire those guys way easier than a top 5 left tackle. Good luck going and getting one of those.
Yeah, 100%. I like that. All right. Next question we got. 3 the hard way at Degen TV. Will the Vikings win the number 1 seed? The schedule plays out for it to happen. What do you think?
So they go Seattle, we said. They probably have the Packers one more time. Have they played the Packers twice? Yeah, no, I think they got the Packers at least time.
I'm going to see right now.
Then, yeah, you pull it up.
Yeah, so it's Seahawks, Packers, Lions. Ooh. That's a tough 3-game skid, I'm not going to lie.
Man. Vikings are scary. They're like a Seattle team to me. They're so scary on the outside. Playmakers, Aaron Jones, you know, Addison, Hawkinson in the middle. But at the end of the day, it's like Darnold's leading the charge. But, man. What was the question? Are they going to win the NFC?
Yeah, it's basically, are they going to run off with the number 1 seed?
The number 1 seed, just getting the number 1 seed. Detroit's in their problems with health. It's there. I mean, they should. Realistically, it's just, can Darnold keep it together? It's just like, that's it, man. Same for the Eagles, right? But the Eagles are in a better situation. Can Jalen just keep it together? And if he keeps playing within the scheme, Darnold, though, like you still see it, like he's still capable of, once you get him out of his element, he'll throw a crazy. He did it the other day. Like Jefferson drops a touchdown or not a touchdown, he drops a ball on the 5-yard line, essentially walking into the end zone. And then 2 plays later, Darnold throws a crazy ball into a crowd of 50 guys. I'm exaggerating by 45, but like it ends up being picked, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, Darnold's got the infamous quote, like he sees ghosts. So I don't know if you ever stop seeing ghosts once shit goes sideways. But for me, like I I won't be back in the Vikings, I think, too often as a favorite in general, but I could see where right now, considering health, Packers are in that same, like, I don't know if they're going to take that step forward. They were one of my dark horses, not dark horses, but one of my favorite teams, I think, coming into the year. But with Alexander's always hurt, defense hasn't been great, but yeah, I guess I'd leave Vikings, even though I don't even know if they win against Seattle. We were talking about that earlier. This game.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to that last game versus the Lions.
Yeah.
If they're both
Yeah.
winning out, it's
All these
it's
games,
gonna come down.
all these divisions, right? Like all these.
Yeah.
The NFL set it up perfect. It's scripted per all these games. How they're going to be able to flex it throughout the day and strategically layer them in. And they're all going to have relevance to seeding and contingent on one another. Essentially, head-to-head matchups that teams you aren't even playing that week, but how you did against them against the season and stuff. So. If I had to bet, no, I wouldn't take the Vikings, but I think that the schedule situationally does lend itself with people's health, and it lends itself to them. So if they do what they've been doing, then yeah, they should.
I agree. I like that. That's a good analysis, basically. I like that. All right, here we go. Last one. Here we go. Do you think Lamar can finally break his 0-4 streak versus the Steelers? And this is by Easy Money Picks.
He's 0-4 against the Steelers, straight up?
Yeah, I guess so. That's crazy.
There's no way.
I don't know. Is he 0-4? Because Lamar's been in the league for like, what, 4 or 5 years already, right?
Yeah, what?
Maybe lately, maybe recently. Maybe he's like on an 0-4 run.
Must be.
Let me see. 2-5, 0-4 losing streak. Oh, yeah.
Say it again.
He's 2-5 all time, but he's on an 0-4 streak.
So there we go again with that line being outrageously high.
He hasn't beat them since 2019. To put that in perspective, it's almost 4 years.
Huh. Does he break it? They're 6-point favorites, so the easy answer is yes. You just take them outright to win. Yeah, the numbers in your favor, but that's two. I think earlier, like I said, I would take the points if I was betting the game, which I probably won't because I don't know what to do with it. And like I said, the situation, you always just take anything better than 3 in those when those two teams play each other. So I would lean Steelers there, but I don't know. Every time I want to get on Lamar as a big favorite, minus talent's just going to outwin, and just situation like the Giants are in right now with nation-wise is going to just carry that team to a huge win. But like when it's two teams that are playing for something and Lamar as a big favorite is not like a great feeling for me.
Yeah.
I just I feel like sometimes he shrivels back up sometimes into some of these. He sometimes like Lamar looks like he can't play no more.
It
like
does.
When he's throwing the ball, when he's throwing and stuff like that, he just gets air mailing balls, and I'm just like, what happened to the MVP guy? And then he flashes it, and then it's like, they start rolling these teams up like they did to Buffalo earlier in this year. But sometimes you hit them in the mouth, and you make the game kind of sloppy, and you don't let them get into that rhythm. He becomes human, like we said.
I think if Lamar wants to win this game, he's gonna have to use his legs. I know lately in the last week or two he's been using them more often, but we gotta see like the full Lamar Jackson package. Like he needs to run for the first downs. He needs to get a couple read option plays. Just kind of mix it up. Don't become predictable. They could try to pound the rock with Derrick Henry all they want, but the Steelers have a really top tier run defense. So like this kind of just goes down to just strategic. How you're going to go in against this team offensively and defensively. It's really going to come down to coaching. Coaching and quarterback execution is like the major factor for this game.
But I don't know if there's really an advantage either. I mean, I think now, and I would probably take Lamar in general, over most. But Tomlin and Harbaugh, it's pretty even there. Both are hard-nosed, gritty dudes, and like great coaches. So not a huge unbalance there. I don't know. This line smells Ravens rolling for some reason though. I don't know why.
Especially with no George Pickens, and they're
Yeah.
also missing a starting safety on the Steelers defensive side.
Yeah. I don't know. And Lamar, you know what? I gotta give it. You gotta factor this into the game too. Is like he wants to make some more noise about the MVP race is not over in his book,
No, not at all.
and in anybody's for that matter. Like these next couple weeks are gonna be really telling you. So Lamar's got a great opportunity. He plays on Christmas also, right? Don't they play the Texans on Christmas too?
Yeah, I believe so.
So like you go roll the Steelers by 30, who you're 0-4, all the media's saying, and then you come and roll the Texans after the Texans are all high off of beating the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Could look different MVP talk in 2 weeks because Lamar, I know up until at least a week or something before Allen went crazy these last 2 weeks, he was the number 1 player in fantasy.
That's kind of crazy. That's a lot to consider then.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, bro, I won't be betting this. I won't be, and I would hate to have to buy, but the line says that the Ravens should roll them, but the history, the 0-4, but why is the line so big then?
Yeah.
Right? Like, why is it not 3? It's the same thing as last week. I'm cool with taking my winnings last week. I went to that well last week with Philly, and you're getting Philly, or I love a situation too. It's like Pittsburgh played a really hard-nosed in-state division. It's like now they got to go on the road again, back-to-back road physical games. Like that definitely leans itself to Ravens. Ravens had a cupcake layup game. People are resting fourth quarter.
Yep.
So there's, yeah. I
can
guess
see
gun
it.
to my head now. I flipped since the beginning, bro. Ravens rolling by 30.
It makes sense. It's
now
it's
that he's
injuries.
0-4, that I hear the 0-4
Yeah.
stat, and and everything I'm saying, everybody's gonna want to go to the well in Pittsburgh. I think being divisional, and
Yeah.
like I said, usually my number's 7. So since it falls off 6.5, I can still get with Pickens out. Take Ravens to roll.
Yeah, and it's a way for Pittsburgh, so essentially it's at M&T Bank Stadium. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 2
It's
road
an
games for
advantage.
them, right? They
Yeah.
just played. Didn't they just play in Philly?
Yeah.
Yeah. So back-to-back road is never, and especially physicality.
It makes sense.
That Eagles game was super physical.
I like it. It just makes a lot of sense at the end of the day.
Yeah. So we got there.
I like it. So I definitely got to go with Lamar, yes, to break the 0-4. I mean, to not beat them in the last 5 years is insane work. Like, because
And the
2019 was
Steelers
the
are
last
having
win.
an outlier season, right? Like you gotta assume. I'll keep saying it, but regression to the mean or what is expected. Team was like at best supposed to win 8 games for the year.
Yeah.
That was
agreed.
their season total, right? And like they're definitely outperforming that. And Tomlin, great job, coach of the year candidate and everything. But like now you're very limited with firepower. You're missing a guy that really is a game changer, essentially. Like those 50-yard prayer balls make so much to this offense, And
Yeah.
it's not like you can just replace that guy with unless Mike Williams steps in and has a couple of those crazy, but I don't know if he's capable anymore at this point in his career.
Literally, he's just been not really a factor, honestly.
Pickens comes down with everything, dude. That was one of my
Yeah.
favorite draft picks. Shout out to me and ZL had a team that we shared. Pickens. That was one of the ones that was one of the good ones. Most of them weren't, but that was one of the good ones.
No, yeah, Pickens is definitely having a really good season. Honestly, like I could see Pickens of essentially leaving Pittsburgh down the line. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I don't see why not. Pittsburgh's kind of like low-key wide receiver
Yeah,
Like, bro, if you run through their
Yeah.
draft homegrown receivers over the last 20 years, like you start at like Hines Ward,
yep,
and then you just work your way to Pickens,
yeah.
insane talent in there.
Heinz Ward.
I'll put it against anybody else
Yeah, AB.
who was, I mean, go look at his
Elite.
3-year run that he had. Emmanuel Sanders was great. Mike
Manuel
Wallace was a
Sanders.
great
Mike
one.
Wallace. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
obviously,
Santonio Holmes.
Yeah, Super Bowl MVP, right? Didn't he win the MVP?
Yeah, I think he won MVP off that toe tap in
That
the end
catch?
zone.
Yeah, exactly. But like, bro, they are
Crazy.
yeah.
Even what was dude's name?
Chase
Martavis
Claypool.
Martavis Bryant. Chase
Martavis
Claypool.
Bryant, yeah.
When Chase Claypool was playing out of his mind, he was playing at Pittsburgh. I don't know what happened. I mean, he definitely fell off, but that they definitely have had a load of receivers that have came in and out of the organization. Oh, Juju. Then when they
Juju's
drafted
another
Juju,
one, yep.
Juju was going crazy.
Yep. Chad, if we miss one, if somebody pops up with one that we miss, we'll take it for a free Givvy.
Yeah, me. Someone mentioned Bryant. He mentioned Juju as well. We're forgetting Darius Hayward Bay. No, no, no,
No,
no.
that was a brick.
He was a Raider, first of
And a
all.
Raider first.
Yeah. Second of all, he wasn't even productive with the Steelers like what you would think. That's
No.
crazy.
But I know there's got Antoine Randall L.
Oh yeah, they said Deontay Johnson.
I'll take Deontay Johnson. We missed out on that.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
still
That's a good one.
He's still got a lot. He has a lot of career left to play. It's not like he's washed.
But like that's a nasty, just like over the course of 15 years, 20 years. Shit.
Ryan Switzer, Scotty Miller, Switzer. I don't think Switzer panned out in my opinion.
Not really.
For what he was hyped up to be.
Maybe this Calvin Austin ends up being somebody too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they drafted him.
It's a lot. That's a lot.
That is, man. It's a lot.
I can see it.
I mean, AB and Manny Sanders, that run, and then Mike Wallace in there, that little run.
Yeah, that duo was insane. Even like tight ends too. Like, have they really missed on tight ends either? You had Heath Miller for a long time.
Yeah, I don't think they've had to even take that many shots. Is the thing with that one.
Yeah,
like,
they've just been so consistent. Fryer moves. And then I feel like Darnell Washington is just such a crazy freak athlete. Like,
true,
he can eventually take over and become tight end one. Yeah, that is crazy. No, yeah, Pittsburgh definitely is wide receiver U. Now that I think about it, for NFL teams,
and then Pickens, like right.
Yeah,
right now,
and Pickens, yeah,
elite.
Facts.
I would love to see Pickens in a pass first offense.
Oh yeah, what you seen what they did?
I mean, this guy.
You seen what he can do?
Number one. Yeah, like he don't drop much.
Yeah,
he's physical. I mean, he's like an AJ Green, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Go get it type of receiver, jump ball, all that good stuff. Yeah, the Steelers do pretty well in drafts. They know how to build. They definitely know how to build. So that's cool. I like that. That. Let's see. All right. Last segment of the night. It is our fade or follow. No, we mentioned Hines Ward. All right. So we got 2 games, 1 NBA, 1 NFL. We kind of already touched on this NFL game, but I feel like it's such a crucial game for both teams that we kind of got to just go back to it. But we got the line for Texans and Chiefs. This one is, like we said earlier, it's going to be one of those closer games. I don't see a line for you. Oh, this is next week.
3.5.
There it is. Yeah.
Texas Chiefs?
Yeah, 3.5 plus 3.5 for Houston, minus 3.5.
So this line opened, just so you know, it opened as Chiefs plus 2.5.
Yeah. So it went up a little bit.
A lot of it. Well, that's the Wentz news to Mahomes.
Yeah.
So just to let you know, injury and just like the forecast, and then how Mahomes is superhuman and is able to play this mid to high ankle sprain.
Facts.
Like I've had fantasy dudes miss 6 weeks because of the same injury.
Literally.
Anytime this happens to Mahomes, though, it's like the guy, he's running out on by Thursday. He's running loops at practice.
Yeah, so it's cortisone shots they're putting into his ankle. That mean it numbs up the entire ligament where it's injured. So it makes sense. I mean, they got that like such crazy.
But if
like,
you get Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter, down there getting after him, what is that going to look like after the first quarter shots worn off?
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be crazy. So plus 3.5 Houston, minus 3.5, or we could go with the total points at over 42.5, or we could go outright. Whichever team to win. What would you go with? What do you think is like the safest play here?
So if it was me, I'm not a big totals bet. Just in general, I think they're really finicky on turnovers and luck on that. What side of the field you muff a punt or take a strip sack? Are you in the red zone? Are you in your own 20? Stuff like that really tends to swing totals. And then just late game shenanigans too. Just go back to look at the Cowboys Redskins game. I think there was 20 points, and that game ended as I think the highest scoring game of the week. There's like 21 points maybe. It was like a 13-9. I want to say it was with 8 minutes left, and I think they ended up in the 50 range. So without OT. So like, yeah, in general, I don't like to play totals, but what I alluded to earlier with I think Mahomes being limited. KC likes to run the ball. They like to keep the clock moving. They like to just move the chains. They like to just matriculate it down the field. So I think that the clock should be rolling. Houston should want to come in here and run it as well. Lean on Joe Mixon and then let Stroud do things off of that. So I think that the clock should be moving and both defenses should be super engaged. Like I said, I expect Houston's best performance of the year essentially here, if not trying to put their name in the contenders, that's kind of been forgotten about. Because kind of coming into the year, Houston was a lot of people's dark horses. They remember how the year ended with them losing to Baltimore, but being right there. So I think that this is a good opportunity for them, kind of catching Casey at a good time where they're fat, happy. They got they're in a good win-loss situation, and they got banged up Mahomes. So I would take definitely the points with the Texans, and if not an outright with I would lean under as well. I think it's a tough game. Points are at a premium, but at the end of the day, Texans get it done.
I can agree with you on that. I would definitely follow. I would follow you on that. I wouldn't fade it. I would follow that. I feel like that's a really good point, especially with Mahomes being banged up and stuff like that. I think it just plays a big factor overall for the game. Time of possession, the scoring factor. Like, what if Mahomes is only able to do the bare minimum, only do short passes, hand the ball off? Like, who knows? Can he sit in the pocket for an extended period amount of time, be able to scramble? Like, we just don't know until game time. So
and go look at like Casey's biggest plays. They're usually when Mahomes is out of the pocket, scrambling around, plays breakdown, Kelsey 18-yard rip, then tumbles for another 10 yards, or Worthy's down the field, or Juju's hitting across. But those are usually broken plays. For the most part, this offense is pretty underneath for the most part now. They're not like the Tyreek Hill days and stuff like that where they're taking the lid off and they're designing these streak routes down the field. So I'm sure they'll take a couple shots to Worthy, but for the most part, yeah, I expect a lot of just underneath stuff. Keep Mahomes clean as possible, and hopefully, ideally they hand it to Pacheco 25 times.
Yeah, no facts. It just makes sense, especially for that type of game that's coming up. Like, I don't know. I just don't see it going another way.
And like the Chiefs barely covered, like they just have not covered this. They had gone 7 games in a row, first time in history. And sometimes you see 7 blacks on the roulette board. You want to go red, and it worked out last week. You got the Browns, but like, man, the Browns did everything possible, including benching Jameis because it was that bad to not. They were in full potential of covering that game. I watched every minute of it. Like, they just could not get out of their own way from starting off the game. They give the Chiefs a 3-and-out, and they muff the punt, and then the Chiefs come down and score. So it's like after that, they gave it. I want to say another 7 points later in that game too. So of the 21 that Kansas City scored against the Browns, 21-7, it's like I think 14 was basically manufactured from miscues, that you can't really expect to carry over.
Yeah, I see a lot of short yardage situations, screenplays, not read options, but like RPOs. A lot of RPOs, stuff like that.
They're content if Pacheco's ripping off 5 a carry. They're content just feeding that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And then if it goes to 3rd and 8, all right, bunch of curls to Kelsey and crossers across and stuff like that. But they're not going to be trying to take these huge shots, I don't think. So
I agree.
I agree. Hopefully Texans lean heavy on Mixon and work off of that, and defense gets after Mahomes, which causes a lot of negative plays because clock running also. Games played, with punts and field position becomes a huge factor of this, and somebody probably wins in a walk-off field goal, I would assume, one way or the other, and the 3.5 should be good.
I see it. I already see it. It just makes sense. So I'm definitely gonna follow you on that. I like that. So for the NBA segment, we're gonna jump a little bit further throughout the week. Christmas Day to be exact.
Hoping you take it there. That's the only games I'll care about until the playoffs.
Yeah. So
NBA Christmas lineup is cool. And
for sure. I think the favorite game. Cool, oh yeah, the cup was cool, but the cup was weird. The cup was weird in terms of like how these players performed. Like, you would think they would play a little bit, more hard. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay,
it was just,
bro.
I don't know. It was odd.
Let me ask you something. How old are you, Ant?
24. Actually,
24. So
25. I just turned 25.
You're the average, probably a little bit older than the majority of the NBA players that were out there. These teams that came out to Vegas, right, for basically a week. The winning teams.
Yeah.
You got to think how long these kids were spend time in Vegas. So they won
True.
that first game. They came in early, probably before that. They're in Vegas and they win that first game. Then there's a layoff of a couple days. Like, what's it look like for them? It's not Oklahoma City,
No,
right?
facts.
It's a whole different place that you're spending your time for the next couple days.
Sin City, man.
Yeah, so to expect a peak performance in one game, and that's why NBAs are decided over series instead of one games.
Yeah,
It's a little unrealistic.
that's true.
Even so much so that like now the NBA is considering like maybe we don't host it in Vegas.
Maybe we hosted somewhere like Utah.
A little bit safer for these players, right? So
Yeah, but
they came out with
ultimately,
that statement, right?
but I feel like you can't really blame that on the NBA for choosing the location, because at the end of the day,
Nah.
it's the best team with the best players, and,
And
a
it's
lot of that comes
organization, though,
down,
like-
yeah, for sure, like discipline and stuff too. Like
Yep,
that's
exactly.
that all, it spits the same fuel to the same fire. Like if
Yep.
you have all the categories on and off the court to be a championship team, which is not getting distracted, being disciplined and stuff like that, it's what makes a championship team. So I mean, it's cool for location. I think it's also cool to kind of like separate your contenders from the pretenders and stuff like that.
Yep. No, I love it for Vegas. Obviously, being out here, it's great for the city. It brought a bunch of attention. It brought a bunch of people out here. Brought golf tournaments. Shadow Creek did a thing because of it, and the Wynn did a Creators Cup with a bunch of influencers because of it. So it brings a ton of attention to the city and different, all different types of white walks here that we not normally wouldn't. Especially in this time, it's a little bit quieter in Vegas during December usually, just because people are at home during the holidays and stuff. So it's great for the city. But yeah, it comes down to kind of what you were alluding to. It's like how the Bucks are a championship organization. That team
For
has
sure.
won championships. That core is there without Drew Holiday. Essentially, that's won
Yeah.
the championship. So
Yeah.
that's going to carry over to these types of weeks when you have that infrastructure internally. OKC is a very new, young, just getting used to being favorites, just getting used to be talked about as championships. So that just it shows. It's glaring. And so it's like opportunities like that, you gotta, it's obviously, I don't want to be Monday night quarterback after the fact about it, but like you gotta assess situations like that on a bigger scale than more than just talent. Because like I saw everybody's Twitter and everybody's Instagram took OKC at that NBA Cup. I saw like every ex NBA player took OKC
Yeah.
because talent wise, they, which it didn't even look like they're that much more of a talented team in general. And you look on them on paper, it's like,
Yeah.
should they be 6-point favorites against the Bucks on a neutral court?
I honestly had Bucks to win it. Honestly.
6 points, bro.
Yeah.
6 points.
6-point
That's
favorites is
insane.
crazy.
5.5 point favorites.
Yeah. You just
So-
go down like it just comes down to experience too at the end of the day, and I think the Bucks had them beat in that. Like OKC's a young team, probably one of the youngest teams in the league.
I'll share a story with you real quick about just organizations and how meticulous some can be versus some just kind of being like lackadaisical, and like that's why it carries over to the culture. It's like when I worked in Denver for a couple years at the Four Seasons out there, we would host these different teams that would come in and play the Rockies, and they would come in and play the Nuggets, and they play the Broncos, right? So all these different teams Four Seasons would host based on based on like what size we could offer them for space and everything. A lot of these teams we wouldn't, like NFL, because they demanded so much space. But
Yeah.
NBA, we had a huge contract with, and like the Spurs. So we would see all these different NBA teams, and like we'd see all their menu requests and their exercise, all their meeting room requests and what they needed, right? Most of them looked the same, right? And all their food and beverage would look the same. Their catering for their meals and everything. And then in came the Spurs, and the Spurs obviously have had one of the best. They're probably the closest thing to like the Patriots organization in my mind, just with Pop and how they run themselves, and they've got championships in there. They're always in contention. They're never in disarray or anything like that. And they're not traditionalists where they're stuck like in the old school NBA, like they're constantly moving and being relevant. And so even with Wemby now, and like I saw their request for the hotel and especially their food, and like bro, like just like they had curfew set on these guys. They had specific meal regimens for these guys, and like they had all these different just things that were just buttoned up from the organization, that the players didn't have this autonomy to make these decisions about even their food. Like when you're traveling with the team, like the Spurs were handling that from A to Z essentially, and it showed, and that was the product.
Crazy.
And you think about the Spurs and you just automatically think like that's like a team that's buttoned up. Like they're just always, whether they're a 50 loss team or a 50 win team, they're just still like there's something sound about that organization, right? And it's like versus like some of these guys, and you would just see like pancakes and syrup and like just hamburgers and late curfews, and the guys would right when they would land, they would come down to the lobby, they would have a bottle in their, like, different teams, right? And like just
Yeah.
how they operated, and some of them were like champions as well, but just like it starts with like that culture,
Yeah.
it starts with the organization and how, so um
That's
it's cool to
crazy.
see that that transpires over to like winning, though, and winning cultures. I'll never forget that type of stuff though with Spurs.
From top to bottom. I mean,
Yeah.
Spurs successful franchise, super successful.
Yep.
Definitely can compare
like,
him to
yeah.
the Patriots.
Yeah, they
That's
keep
a
it
great
dialed in,
comparison.
man. They make sure these guys are eating kale salads and organic chicken and these other things. Like the other dudes were eating like traditional college kids, or like college kids with a big budget,
Yeah.
top ramen, like just, and like that shit matters. That matters when you're at a high caliber. There's so little room for error.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So he had that down to a T. And it just kind of goes back to what we were talking about with the in-season tournament. Like, oh, yeah, you got people who play in OKC going to a big city like Vegas. Like, how many
Exactly.
bottles do you think were ordered the night before? Or,
Exactly.
you know what I mean?
What
Or
were
what
these
was their
guys doing for
curfew?
the last 2 nights, right?
Yeah.
Versus a championship pedigree team.
Yeah.
The Bucks knew what to do. This was a business trip for them.
Yep.
Right? And OKC's like, they're like, this is almost house money. We're new money.
Yeah.
We don't know how to act it yet.
Yeah.
We're just getting used to spending.
Facts. And it made sense. I was shocked by seeing how many people had all the overs for OKC, and I was like, that's kind of crazy. Like, the Bucks just seemed like the safer choice. You know what I mean?
That's basically like a Game 7 vibe, right? It's a 1-game elimination.
Yeah.
Always gonna lean under. Always.
Yeah, 100%.
Just because you're gonna get everybody's best defense, buckets are gonna be at a premium.
Yeah. So how did that work? Did I know the Bucks players, they each got 500K, or how did that go?
I think 250 or something like that. Yeah, there was a big price drop off. For
did the Thunder get anything for making it that far?
I think all 4 maybe even got it. The final 4 maybe, but yeah, the Thunder got a lesser of the price for sure.
Yeah.
Difference of 6 figures.
That's crazy per player. You would think the Thunder players being more young and not having like those crazy like max contracts like a Dame or a Giannis would have, you think they would be more hungry to go get that 500K bonus and stuff like that. So I can see why people were leaning towards the Thunder to go over just with that narrative alone. But then
For
again,
sure.
you can never count out
But
experience.
it's all
and veteran.
20-something-year-olds that are all in an NBA. Like you're in a fraternity amongst your teammates, right? Especially in the NBA, it's a tight knit group. It's 12 guys, right? It's a small fraternity that you got. How often are you guys all together in Vegas?
Yeah.
Never.
Facts.
You're never.
Because there's no NBA
The Bucks
team in
actually
Vegas.
have been, because they probably won a championship. They came here after, like the Warriors did. I know
Yeah.
teams have been known to do that after, but like it's just like that for 4 days is a lot on anybody.
Yeah.
And especially just a young team that's not used to being in those. And now you got the pressure. It's like same with the Lions. Like it's they're going through that transition right now. Like you've been the underdog role for so long. It's hard when you're the favorite. It's just harder. The expectations are set. You got expectations before the game kicks to produce at a high level versus we ain't expecting that much from you, but like you guys might do some shit.
Makes sense. It makes sense. But that's good stuff to like keep in mind and like keep track of. That is crazy.
There always those positions will present themselves. It's going to present itself in the NFL playoffs here. There's going to be opportunities for it, right? Like if Jaden Daniels gets in there and it's his first rookie game, I remember, same with Lamar. Like I remember I couldn't wait to fade him his first playoff game against the Chargers, and he just he almost made an epic comeback, but I think they started off down 24-0. So there's always these opportunities to take advantage of, first timers or inexperience and pedigree and stuff like that. You just got to seek it out. You got to think outside the lines a little bit when it comes to some of this stuff.
Agreed.
It's bigger. It's always bigger than on paper the talent. The spread reflects that. That's Vegas's job, and outside the offshore books jobs. Like that's what the spread does. That's all baked into there. So you gotta think bigger outside of that numbers thing, because the number's already there to balance it.
Yeah, I think it's just crazy how they do the calculations behind all that too. It's like you gotta really be in depth with that shit.
It's crazy how many screenshots I get of people missing by a hook and missing by a half, prize picks and people bad beats and stuff. It's same with spreads. Like, it comes down to the last play, how many times for a total.
Yeah. Like, you think that last second field goal between in that Broncos game, you think that definitely messed some stuff up?
I mean, it definitely made something for you.
Oh yeah, for sure,
And
for sure.
like the second half total was 23, so I don't think that impacted. But like now, it's like there's always triple T. Like that could have 61 points. No, it wouldn't have affected a super tease or anything. But for money wise, I don't think it impacted too much. It just was probably a Lutz thing.
Yeah,
But Lutz was probably tied to a good amount of stuff, I would assume too. Man, he banged a 55-yarder too.
crazy, right?
That's my thing that I've had the hardest thing. Maybe that was like for putting money up on these games and betting. Like, man, the year started off with these kickers. They were invincible. They were automatic. Everybody was hitting 50-yarders. And then something happened. Now 40-yarders are in jeopardy. Like, people are shanking kicks every weekend, left and right. Like, I don't know how much you play kickers or how much involvement you see it, but like,
Yeah.
when you're betting these first quarters and first halves, especially I like to play a lot of first quarters a lot of times, and like, team comes out, they get a 3 and out, they get the ball, they drive the field. You need 3. All you need is 3. You're gonna probably cover because you're getting plus a half a point. And the dude goes down. He's fucking now off the 44-yarder should be guaranteed. Misses that, then the team's in good field position. They're 2 first downs away. They kick the 3.
Yeah,
It's like you should have had that 3.5, that half plus the 3 to win 3-3 there, basically. You know,
it's definitely crazy.
but
It's
the kicking
crazy.
has come off
Yeah.
the rails the last couple, like in the last 2 months. Like it's
Yeah.
almost like where it made it unwatchable.
I know mid-season people were talking about like, oh, kickers are undefeated right now. Like,
Yeah.
they're doing like the unexpected.
It started with that
and-
Brandon Aubrey one on
Yes,
Thursday night against the Giants, bro.
yes,
Like,
yeah.
that should have been automatic, and I think we went live that night.
Yeah, we did.
And we talked about how much money was swung because it took it from 5 to 8 or something where the number, though, it mattered
Yeah.
for the
Oh
number.
yeah, it did big
And
time.
ever since it, like, Tucker's having a all-time worst year. This guy can't make anything. Jake Elliott for the kick, like, it's crazy how bad these been.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's been a crazy roller coaster of a season, bro, for NFL and NBA, honestly.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, man. We just kind of, just being degenerates as we already are. We kind of just roll
Can't
with
wait.
the punches.
Can't wait. What do we got? We got a Saturday game, Saturday NFL. Can't wait, bro.
I know, right? You know what I was thinking would be a good what if you know how Canadian football, they have games on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? I think the NFL should look into breaking their games up like that.
Say that one more time.
Because in the Canadian Football League, you know how they play on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays? I
Yep.
think the NFL should try to adopt that, or at least, that would be really dope. There was 4 days a week of NFL football, Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I feel like that would be crazy. It would be better in terms of money making too for the league, honestly.
Yeah, no, definitely, bro. I mean, they're all for it. They're trying
Yeah.
to take over these Christmas games. And hey, does Netflix hold up on Christmas, bro? Are we gonna have the Jake Paul 2.0 thing?
I mean, with them being
I'm
such a
nervous
big
about it.
corporate company, they shouldn't be able to mess this up again. You know what I mean?
How did you mess up the Paul Tyson fight, though?
I think they just pulled in bigger numbers than expected.
It'd
Honestly,
be a damn shame, man. That was like watching a 1990s TV too. Like the quality was terrible. It was cutting out all the time.
yeah, it was bad. I had to go to Stream East and watch the fight on my phone. That had better connection than Netflix. I had the Netflix TV pulled up in front of me. I thought it was my
Crazy.
Wi-Fi because my Wi-Fi was tripping out
Yeah.
for like that 2-week span. I was like, no, not again. And then it just turned out it was just Netflix acting the fool.
Yeah. All you had to do is go on social media and just see the hashtag Netflix fail or blah.
Yeah.
What they were hashtagging, but
For a live event like that. But that's cool though. That's cool that Netflix is like evolving into that. So it kind of changes up the pace of like where to watch the games. Because like last year it was either Twitch or now it's Amazon Prime. Now it's Netflix. It's like, okay, like are we gonna
terrible,
just
bro.
like
Killing us on these subscriptions.
Yeah, like just pick one.
You got to hit a massive bet just to cover your subscriptions for football these days.
Pretty much, yeah, for the
Like
monthly.
if you really laid it out for everything that if you wanted to watch all the college and NFL, say you're just
Yeah.
a football fan, so you would have to have like the Peacock and the
Yup.
fucking Netflix and all.
All of it.
It's a couple racks, I think, for the year.
Dude, do you know how much YouTube TV is?
I heard it's jumping to
Dude,
like what 100 or something, right?
More than that. For NFL, right now, they're having it on a discount for like $2 something a month. YouTube TV is super taxed. It's cool that you can watch every game, but now you think about your primetime games like, oh, now I got to go on Amazon Prime. Oh, now I got to go to Twitch. Oh, now I got to go to Peacock. Oh, now I got to go to Netflix. Like, I know what you mean. That is crazy and out of proportion. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, and like Disney and ESPN, they're gonna have a say in all that too. Like,
Yeah.
Disney's starting to string their own on their app too. So
And
It's
how they're
not
doing
good.
those remixes too. Like last week, it
Oh,
was like
yeah.
the Simpsons one.
yep,
And I was
everybody's
like,
trying to tap in, bro.
yeah.
Everybody's trying to tap in.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's interesting. I'm interested to see what the NFL does moving forward with it, and I could honestly see the NBA starting to adapt into that same thing as well. Like, who knows? Who knows at this
100%.
point?
No, NBA's doing a Mickey Mouse one. They're
Yeah.
doing Dunk the Halls.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
Yeah.
See?
I think for Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're already there.
Yeah. See. Next thing you know, it's gonna be baseball. Like, it's
Baseball
gonna be
needs
crazy.
a red zone channel so bad.
I don't know why they haven't done that yet.
I don't know. It's crazy.
Especially with all the games that be on, bro. There'd be so many games in one day.
Yeah. Just
And there's
sell
a baseball
red zone
game- there's
package.
baseball
Nobody
games
wants to
every
yeah,
day.
yeah, and like nobody wants to watch 10 individual baseball games like NFL style, but
No.
like, you had a red zone going.
Yeah.
Baseball, and it's just cutting in and out of action and bases men on and situational.
Yep.
I sign me up for that.
Yeah. That's fire.
Probably do huge for their fantasy too.
For sure. For sure. Especially, man, baseball season is going to be crazy this year. I got the Dodgers repeating.
Yeah, you really stepping out on that.
Hey, who did we lose?
No, bro, you guys are it's like crazy how y'all can stack the deck like that. I don't have a baseball team, so I don't care, but it's just insane to me how baseball is played from a budget standpoint is so unfair.
No, they definitely need to put a salary cap.
But it's not even that. It's like even if they put a cap, it's just these other markets can't even hit their cap.
Yeah.
But sorry, Las Vegas A's are coming, bro.
I know. That's
Again,
nice.
there's an expectation when you come here. We'll be spending.
That's good for Vegas.
We will not be an Oakland team.
Dude, Oakland lost all their teams.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That hurts. Especially growing up a Raider fan. So, like, going to the Coliseum and watching those games, and then now it's like, what's the point of the Coliseum now? Like, nobody wants to go to Oakland anymore. Like, why are you going to go to the Bay? Unless you're going to, like, San Francisco and stuff like that. But, like, why would you go to Oakland now? There's no more attraction to it. There's no more major league teams.
I mean, I really
nothing
wasn't
like
trying
that.
to go there beforehand, to be honest. But
You know what's crazy? I went to the Jets versus Raiders game back in like 2011, and me and my cousin, big mistake, were walking down the streets of Oakland, just going to like a local Burger King to get food, and we get held up by a homeless dude, and he takes $50 from us.
no way. Is that all y'all had, or is that what he handed?
My dad gave us money, so we went to Burger King. And then he stopped us outside of the Burger King. And he was like, hey, man, like, I really need this gas money to get my kids home, da-da-da-da, they're in the car, whatever. Like, just giving us the whole story. He's like, do you have anything you could break off? And me being a kid, bro, I had the money in my palm. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't in my pocket. It was in the palm of my hand the whole way, going back from the hotel to Burger King and stuff like that. So he saw the 20 in my hand. I was just like, oh, man. And I just looked at him and I'm like, yeah, let us get food first and we got you. So then he follows us into the Burger King, waits for us to order our food, and then he's kind of just like sitting at a table just like waiting for us, and he's like, what's up? Like, am I getting my money or what? And then I'm just like frozen. And my older cousin, he was like 16 at the time. So like we're both young, not old enough to be walking the streets of Oakland.
Right.
And my cousin's trying to tell him, like, yo, like, we didn't have enough, da-da-da-da. And he's like, no, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to him. And he points at me, and I'm like, oh, hell no. So I just cough up the rest of the money. I give it to him. He gets out of our face. And then we get back to the hotel room. And then, when Pops gives you change, he expects to get something back. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, I gave you 50. There's no way you run up a $50 tab at Burger King. So the one question I was dreading, I was like, please don't ask for the change. Please don't ask for the change. And the first thing he says when we get there, we get the food. All right, cool. And he's like, oh, where's the change at? How much did you get back? And then me and my cousin look at each other and just get silent, bro. And then they're like, "What's up? Like, where's the change? Like, what happened? Like, they're tripping on us." So then my cousin like takes my dad to the back room and just like tells him the story. And then my uncle comes out. They're like, "What? Who? Where they at?" Da 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 da. And I'm like, "Oh hell no!" So it was just a whole, yeah, it was just a crazy experience, bro. My first and last time walking the streets of Oakland. So.
Sometimes you gotta make a business decision, bro.
No, for sure. I definitely, bro. At 11 years old to make a business decision like that over like $25.
Bro. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right, bro.
I'm like, here, bro. Take it. I'm not even pressed over no $20 bill. So it is what it is. That shit
might not
was
have been
funny.
here for this.
No, for real. Shit was crazy, bro. I remember like that story was such a crazy like experience for me. I remember like as like a couple years went by, like for school, they were like, "Oh, tell us one of like a crazy experience," and my title was "When I Got Robbed in Oakland," and it was crazy.
Hey,
like,
that's great. At least you always had that. You always had that. Even now.
Yeah, no, for
Years
real.
later, you got it.
Nah, crazy Oakland experience, man. So it is what it is.
To go to Oakland both pre and post Raiders and A's. Back to my original.
Yeah,
Yeah,
facts.
come to Vegas instead. You can see everything that Oakland ever had to
I
offer.
mean, I'm gonna be walking the streets of Vegas like y'all don't know what it's like to be a real Raider fan.
Yeah, no.
You don't know what it comes with. There's literally a
Crowd's lot
price to
softer out
pay.
here.
No, for real.
A lot of housewives. You get some Raider, fans that make the trip and everything like that.
Yeah.
The crowd, a whole lot different out here.
Yeah, but like the hardcore fan base, nah, that definitely
the Black
stayed.
Hole and everything.
Yeah,
bro?
that stayed in the Bay for sure.
Yeah.
Of course, you got the diehard fans that do make those trips because they were already
Yeah,
paying
but it's
for
like
the
few and
tickets
far
and stuff.
between too. Like they can't
Yeah.
do it year round.
No, for sure.
But
It was
all right,
crazy.
Ant.
But yeah, man, that was the last segment, man. That pretty much concludes our official episode 1 of the Degen ENT podcast chat. We have 50K likes. We got one more givey for y'all before the night ends. B, man, anything else you want to say or do or whatever it is before we sign off?
No, I'll go ahead and just whatever. I'll let you run the trivia or the giveaway, however you want to do it, and then let's just make it for 3 winners instead of 1. So
Bet.
thank you for everybody for tuning in. We obviously going to keep trying to run this at least weekly, and then try to add some more premium content on the weekends as well. So look forward to doing that, and we're open to feedback and different ideas to incorporate throughout the chat, or throughout the stream. So just feel free to fire those over, and if we end up picking them, then we're always happy to show the love back.
Fire. You know what it is, chat. For the last one, chat, we're going to take a random subscriber to our YouTube page. So go subscribe to Degen Entertainment TV right now on YouTube. We're going to pick one off stream, and we'll be DMing you. If you're in the Discord community. If you're not in the Discord community, make sure you click the link in our bio to join our official Discord and all that great stuff. All the socials are down below as well. And yeah, chat, we got y'all covered for tonight, man. W stream. I feel like this is a lot of good content that we could cut up, post throughout the week. We touched some really great topics, had really good discussions, really good debates. So I look forward to seeing what kind of content comes out of this.
All right, Ant. I appreciate y'all.
All right, for sure, B. I appreciate you, man. It's love. We will see you on the next episode.
All right, my man.
All right, sounds good. All right, chat. Y'all know what it is, man. Degen ENT. It's your boy ANT, the official, man. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the follows, the likes. Make sure y'all get in the Discord community. We're going to run this at least once a week for our official podcast stream. If you guys liked it, let us know. Leave a review, all that good stuff, man. I got to get out of here. It's about that time, man. I definitely was sick this week, so I'm hanging on by a thread, but I do it for y'all at the end of the day, man. It's love. Fire emojis in the chat. W's in the chat, man. Y'all know what it is. ANT the official. Shout out my boy Brandon Wooden for coming on to the show, man. Degen ENT. If y'all don't know, you better find out. We really like that. Y'all know what it is. We are out. I appreciate y'all. It's love, and I will see y'all on the next stream. We out.
Score, score, score. Kobe, I wanna be great. We went from them heroes to legends, I did it all without a cage. No, I'm a win, I'm a champion, yeah, I took over that game. I'm shooting like Steph from the middle, you know I've been making it rain. Score, I can't lay down, I've been running the floor. Sweeping opponents like doing a chore. I'm chasing that chip, I've been chasing that glory. Score, 24 seconds, I'm shooting from deep. 24/7, I'm tucking my heat. 22 on my back like my name Jimmy.